Chapter 215. As his parents passed away one by one, Wang Zhong was already 110 years old in the blink of an eye. Ordinary people definitely wouldn't be able to live to this age, but he was a cultivator, so he still looked very young, about 40 years old. As for Lu Hua and Lin Wu, because their cultivation bases were low, they were already senile and looked to be in their 50s. Although they had been working hard to maintain and cultivate, time was unforgiving. Compared to Wang Zhong's youthful appearance, they looked too old. Lu Hua, Lin Wu, why haven't you come to see me recently? Wang Zhong was puzzled. These days, he saw Lu Hua and Lin Wu less and less. This was too strange, wasn't it? Ziru was a little embarrassed. She lowered her head and said, They. Why are you stuttering? Wang Zhong said in displeasure. Ask them yourself. Sigh. Really? In the imperial palace, Wang Zhong found Lu Hua and Lin Wu in the bedroom alone. The two of them were sitting at the table, eating melon seeds and drinking sweet tea. Sigh, I have another wrinkle on my face. Lu Hua touched her face with a helpless expression. Isn't that so? My breasts seem to be sagging. Lin Wu was also helpless. Speaking of which, Lin Wu was weaker, so she looked even older than Lu Hua. At this moment, Wang Zhong also understood why they didn't want to see him. When one was old, sometimes they would despise themselves, let alone others. They were worried that he would despise them. Therefore, they would rather avoid him so that he would have a better memory. Have you gone to see your husband recently? Lu Hua asked. Lin Wu shook her head. I'm so ugly now. How can I face people? Sigh. Me too. I've already become an old woman, Lu Hua said. Father, why are you standing here? Wang Zhong was eavesdropping when a crisp voice sounded from behind. Wang Zhong took a look. Wasn't that his youngest daughter, Nuo? She was Ziru's youngest daughter and often ran around here. Lin Wu and Lu Hua ran over. When they saw Wang Zhong, the three of them felt awkward. No, go play somewhere else, Wang Zhong said. No was led away by the palace maid. Wang Zhong said, Are the two of you so unconfident? Husband, you heard it all? Lin Wu said embarrassedly. What do you think? Wang Zhong shook his head helplessly. Do you think I'm so shallow? I'm sorry. Lu Hua said. All right, don't do this in the future. Despite Wang Zhong's words, as time passed, the two of them grew less confident in their appearances. Wang Zhong also understood in his heart, but there was nothing he could do. Fortunately, other than these things, everything else was progressing well. Schools were built all over the country. After decades of literacy campaigns, everyone was able to read and write. Because there were more and more literate people, many people were born who developed basic science. At the same time, grain production was bumper every year. Now, starvation did not happen at all. But so far, the poverty rate was still quite high. In addition, after so many years of peace, some bullies appeared in many places. These bullies bullied people and dominated the market. They relied on their fierceness and did all kinds of evil. What was especially shocking was that a big bully was actually by his side. That big bully was his and Lin Wu's eldest son, Zhao Wangzhong. When he was young, Wang Zhong thought highly of him. He did not expect this kid to become more and more outrageous. Relying on his strength and high status, he monopolized the cloth trade. Now, his cloth business was very big. But this way, the price of cloth on the market soared. He earned money, but it caused the people to seethe with resentment. The people had no way to make a living, especially some of his competitors in the cloth business. They were secretly suppressed by him, causing their families to be ruined. Others thought that Wang Zhong did not know, but Wang Zhong had secretly set up a prosecutor's office to secretly investigate some of the chronic problems in the cities. Because he knew very early on that there was no perfect system in the world. Everything had to be investigated to know the truth. In order to do these things well, after getting the evidence, Wang Zhong began a vigorous campaign to eliminate evil. The first person he killed was his eldest son, Zhao Wangzhong. Killing the chicken to scare the monkey. Father, father, I'm innocent. That morning, after the servants announced Zhao Wangzhong's crimes, Zhao Wangzhong was afraid and desperately begged for mercy. Son, even now, you still want to lie to your father? Wang Zhong shook his head in disappointment. He did not expect that Zhao Wangzhong would still want to lie to him at this time. It was simply not putting him in his eyes. In this life, his son did not teach him well. Men, here. 2 large blade guards walked in. Take Zhao Wangzhong out and behead him. Wang Zhong waved his hand. Yes, sir. The large blade guards glanced at Zhao Wangzhong. No, don't. Zhao Wangzhong was really afraid. Mother, I want to see mother. But it was too late. Zhao Wangzhong was finally dragged out. At this moment, all the officials in the court were afraid. It was also at this moment that they understood that the monarch was serious. Next, Wang Zhong proposed 4 action plans. They were, fight the tyrants, eliminate the evil, eliminate the forces, and eliminate the gangsters. These are the 4 action plans for today. I hope that all of you can set an example. If anyone wants to be a protective umbrella, ha 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 ha, there will be no mercy. Understand? Yes, sir. Everyone nodded. Also, I'll propose 3 more workplace restrictions. Gambling dens, loans, and human trafficking are not allowed. Originally, Wang Zhong was thinking about abolishing the orphanage, but after thinking about it, he decided against it. This business was legalized in many modern developed countries. There was no need for him to ban it. However, he also issued an order that every workplace must have their own doctor to check on the girls regularly to prevent them from falling sick and spreading the disease. Once the new policy was announced, all the officials agreed. All right, the court is dismissed. Once Wang Zhong was dismissed from court, he walked towards his bedroom. He had just beheaded his eldest son. Lin Wu must have heard about it by now. He wondered how sad she would be. Sai, however, he had no choice. As a wise monarch, sometimes things could not be done as he wished. Boo-hoo! My son is dead. Before he entered the room, he heard Lin Wu crying loudly. Ziru and Lu Hua comforted Lin Wu, but Lin Wu was still crying. At this moment, Ziru saw Wang Zhong enter and complained, "Why are you still here?" "Zhao Xiaodong, how can you do this?" Lu Hua said. "I'm not wrong about this." Wang Zhong shook his head helplessly. Wang Zhong has made many mistakes. If a prince breaks the law, he will be punished the same as a commoner. I have to let the world know. Boo-hoo. Lin Wu entered the room and closed the door. She did not want to see anyone. Wang Zhong sighed and left. Although things were not going well at home, there was good news coming in from outside. Almost everywhere, many tigers were dug up from the ground. Some of the grievances were dug up, which won a lot of praise from the people. Unknowingly, a few painters had started to draw Wang Zhong's portrait and placed it on the wall to form an arch. Everyone said that he was the best ruler since ancient times, and they hoped that he would live a long life. 5 years later, the anti-tyrant campaign finally came to an end. Lin Wu had been bedridden ever since. She had been feeling unwell. She spoke less to Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong could only let his and Lin Wu's other son and daughter visit her often. Chapter 216. Lin Wu, I brought your favorite osmanthus cake. Early in the morning, Wang Zhong brought desserts. Just like before, Lin Wu just nodded silently. Are you still not feeling well? Wang Zhong asked. My chest feels stuffy. Lin Wu sighed. She just glanced at the osmanthus cake and said, In the past, this was the best cake my mother made. These no longer have her taste. Lin Wu, are you still angry with me? Wang Zhong sat on the side and looked over. Lin Wu now looked to be in her 60s. Not only was her face full of wrinkles, but her hair was also white. I'm not angry anymore. I'm old, and I've already seen through many things. You're a person who's going to be a wise ruler. Whether it's from emotion or reason, what did wrong is wrong. It's good that you understand. Xiaodong, tell me, will you still remember me after I die? I'll find a way to treat you. Wang Zhong comforted her. Lin Wu smiled with relief. You're still the same as before. You like to comfort me. Speaking of which, I can learn so many things because of you. Lin Wu found a comfortable position and touched the wrinkles on her face. I must be very ugly now. Don't say that. Okay, I'm going to rest first. Lin Wu went to sleep. Wang Zhong actually didn't tell Lin Wu that she was indeed sick. Although everyone was a cultivator and should get sick, they would still get sick. Wang Zhong touched Lin Wu's forehead and looked at Lin Wu with a smile. However, Lin Wu's smile gradually stiffened. She left. Perhaps for Lin Wu, she knew in her heart that she didn't have long to live, so she chose to leave quietly by Zhao Xiaodong's side. The next day, Lin Wu's son and daughter, including Ziru and Lu Hua, came back. The whole family was grieving, but it was a happy funeral. After burying Lin Wu, Lu Hua, who had a good relationship with Lin Wu, was in a bad mood. Fortunately, Ziru was sensible. Now, only Ziru and Wang Zhong's appearances were similar. This was because both of their cultivations were very strong. Ziru called Lu Hua elder sister and often helped Wang Zhong accompany her. Another few years passed. In this year, after Wang Zhong heard the reports from his subordinates, he knew that the Celestial dynasty was now strong and prosperous. The coastal fleet gradually found other countries overseas, but these countries were still in the era of barbarism. In response, Wang Zhong encouraged the merchants to go out to sea. At the same time, he also noticed that there were still many poor people in the country, so he proposed an important goal. Poverty will be eradicated, and the people of the whole nation will live a well-off life. This goal was very difficult, especially when the productivity and technology of ancient times were not as good. It was too difficult to just rely on agriculture. But fortunately, they discovered the overseas continent. Many poor people made a fortune overseas and returned home in glory. After the morning court session, Wang Zhong had just returned to his bedroom when he heard cries coming from inside. Elder sister Lu Hua, elder sister Lu Hua, Ziru cried. The palace maids also cried. Concubine Lu is not moving. Wang Zhong hurried into the room and heard Ziru crying. Elder sister Lu Hua, she's gone. She's gone? Looking at the 90-year-old old woman on the bed, Wang Zhong staggered over. This morning, I went into the room to give elder sister Lu Hua some water. When I saw her, she looked for me. I walked over, but she only said, "What did she say?" Wang Zhong asked as he looked at the sobbing Ziru. She said to tell you that she's gone. She's waiting for you in the celestial world, Ziru cried. Wang Zhong sat on the chair. Lu Hua was old and did not have long to live. It was just that he had been busy with court affairs recently, so he did not have time to accompany her. He had wanted to take her to the celestial mountain for a stroll. Who knew that things would turn out like this? Lu Hua, have a safe journey. Wang Zhong sighed. He could not help but see the day of the zombie horde. Lu Hua was valiant and calm in the face of the zombie horde. He also saw Lu Hua with him, blushing and saying that she wanted to marry him. The past dissipated like smoke, but Lu Hua seemed to be standing in front of him. Actually, Wang Zhong knew that he had let Lu Hua down. Of the three women, he had spent the least time with Lu Hua. Lu Hua had said those words to Ziru not because she was waiting for him in the celestial world, but because she did not want him to feel uncomfortable. Lu Hua was actually quite understanding. Wang Zhong buried Lu Hua beside Lin Wu's tombstone. Looking at the tombstone, Ziru cried and said, "I'll be buried here in the future." "Sai, let's go back," Wang Zhong said. "We're dead, but we still have to live. Sometimes living was very sad. Let's go back to the palace." Days passed. The overseas territories were discovered one after another. At the same time, the country also launched a vigorous scientific study. Many schools built laboratories, and all kinds of research were done. In order to support these research, Wang Zhong would take out most of the funds every year. Anyway, there were no hostile countries around, so the pressure on national defense was very light. Because of the large amount of investment, the development of science progressed very quickly. This was mainly because of Wang Zhong's guidance. For example, copper, iron, and lye. He knew how to make these basic materials. Later on, he studied glass, cement, and concrete. Why did he have so much time and energy? It was very simple. Because in this life, his lifespan had greatly increased. Not only him, but everyone else was the same. Moreover, the disciples on the celestial mountain not only cultivated, but everyone also had to study. Wang Zhong strongly supported those who were interested in science. As a result, the development of science was very fast. This was an era of the rise of science. Wang Zhong thought to himself. However, at the same time, he also discovered that his strength was starting to decline. Wang Zhong understood that his lifespan was about to end. Am I starting to age too? Wang Zhong sighed. He was already more than 170 years old. To be able to live for so long was already because his cultivation was strong. Otherwise, how could he live for so long? As for Ziru, although they were about the same age, she looked very old. She looked like she was in her 60s. This was because Ziru's cultivation was weak, so once her lifespan was about to end, she would age first. It was the new year again. Wang Zhong brought Ziru back to the celestial mountain. As soon as they arrived, Hao Qi, Gu Li, and the others welcomed them. Gu Li. Seeing his old friend, Wang Zhong laughed. Gu Li was hunched now. He smiled and said, "Master, you're back." Beside him was Hua Ying. Hua Ying was slightly stronger, but he also looked like he had one foot in the grave. "Let's go, let's drink some wine together," Wang Zhong said. "Sigh, we're not as young as you now." "We're all old," Hao Qi complained. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Suddenly, at this moment, a shout came from behind. "Master, you're finally here again. I've learned a new set of moves. This time, I must defeat you." Chapter 217. Without even looking, Wang Zhong knew that this person was Tang Qi. Although he was a white-haired old man, he would challenge him every few years just like when he was young. Of course, while it was said to be a duel, it was actually a sparring session. This was his inner demon. According to Tang Qi's wife, a senior sister of Celestial Mountain, Tang Qi would shout in his dreams, "Zhao Xiaodong, I will defeat you, I will." Actually, Wang Zhong was helpless. Why did he meet such a martial arts maniac? "Okay, but let's fight after drinking," Wang Zhong said. "Let's see who's better at the table." "Okay." Tang Qi nodded. His good friends from Celestial Mountain gathered together and chatted happily. Tang Qi had drunk too much today, so he didn't succeed in the end. In the end, he shouted in a drunken stupor, "Little Dong, Gu Li, Huaring, do you think we can really go to the immortal realm if we die?" In this world, almost everyone knew that as long as one died of old age, one could go to heaven. But only Wang Zhong, Tang Qi, and the others had doubts. Could it really? Although Gao Dongtian said that one could enter the celestial world after death, was that really the case? Could it be that Gao Dongtian didn't want to see them fight and kill, so he said that on purpose? So everyone was confused. Wang Zhong sighed. It must be true. Moreover, as long as we don't have any regrets in this life, who cares about the celestial world? Maybe the celestial world isn't as good as here. That seems to be the case. Where there are people, there will be fights. Let's drink today. Gu Li smiled and touched an empty bowl to the side, shouting, "Yaya, you should drink some too." Since Duan Yaya died, Gu Li would always leave an empty bowl beside him when he ate. He said that Duan Yaya was there too. He even treated Duan Yaya as his first wife and Hua Ying as the concubine. Hua Ying was really magnanimous and didn't care about such things. Instead, he would prepare a bowl and chopsticks for Yaya every day. "Gu Li, you drank too much," Hua Ying said. Gu Li said, "Not much. I'm old. If I don't drink it now, I won't have another chance in the future." As they spoke, the atmosphere gradually became sad. Everyone was old. Indeed, they were old. Every time they gathered together, there would be fewer and fewer opportunities. After staying at the Immortal Mountain for a few days, Wang Zhong had just woken up when he heard a disciple shouting outside, "Elder Gu Li, let's go." Gu Li passed away peacefully. After drinking too much, he walked in front of Duan Yaya's tombstone in the middle of the night. Until the moment of his death, the person Gu Li loved the most was still Duan Yaya. Hua Ying cried as she collected Gu Li's body and conducted the funeral. However, she didn't say a single word of bitterness, even though she knew in her heart that Gu Li only treated her as a substitute for Duan Yaya. Gu Li had never even loved her. However, the relationship between people was just that complicated. No one could say who was right or wrong. Wang Zhong understood this, but he could only pretend that he didn't know anything. 3 years later, Wang Zhong suddenly heard that Elder Tang VII had suffered a qigong deviation during his cultivation and had died on the spot. Tang Qi was dead. He didn't even have any last words. Wang Zhong lamented in his heart. People of their generation had actually stopped cultivating long ago. This was because cultivation wasn't always beneficial. If they continued to cultivate at a certain age, it would instead hurt their foundation. If they were unlucky, they might suffer a backlash and suffer a qigong deviation. Tang Qi had encountered such a problem. However, no one could persuade him otherwise. Tang Qi's ultimate obsession was still to defeat Zhao Xiaodong. Unfortunately, he didn't know that it was too difficult to defeat Zhao Xiaodong, who had the Wuji sword. After Tang Qi left, Wang Zhong suddenly realized that his friends had all left one by one. Hua Ying, Hao Qi, and his former senior brothers and sisters were all gone. Now, only he and Ziru were left. Your Majesty, a place of cultivators has been discovered in the Eastern Sea region. It calls itself the Demonic Land and is ruled by a person called the Demon King. He enslaves his subordinates to cultivate. This day, a subordinate came to report. Are there still evil cultivators now? Wang Zhong asked. Can't the vanguard troops handle them? There were disciples of the Immortal Mountain in every troop, so they weren't afraid of some evil cultivators. They've all been killed. That evil cultivator is very strong. 2 elders of the Immortal Mountain were killed. What? Wang Zhong was furious. How many years had it been? How could something like this happen? Pass down the order. I'll personally lead the troops. Yes. In the same year, Wang Zhong and Ziru took a ship and headed to the Eastern Sea region. The soil in this area was black and there were countless cultivators. The people here abided by the law of the jungle. Because of this law and the spiritual qi here was comparable to that of the Immortal Mountain, there were countless experts and many martial arts sections. However, there weren't any big ships here, so these people moved around the area. As Wang Zhong arrived, the strongest demon king here, Wu Liangzi, found Wang Zhong. You're the monarch of the Immortal Dynasty, Zhao Xiaodong? Wu Liangzi wore a black robe and was shrouded in a black fog. The black fog was filled with human heads and countless Yin spirits. This was the effect of refining countless Yin spirits. That's right. Wang Zhong nodded silently. Ha ha ha, I'll kill you today. When the time comes, I'll bring my men and kill my way to your Immortal Dynasty. Ha ha ha, I'll turn that place into a hell on earth for my cultivation. Is that so? Then I'll have to kill you to protect my people. Wang Zhong said indifferently. Die. As soon as he finished speaking, the Demon King attacked. Wang Zhong smiled. He was weak. He was even weaker than Qi Wentian back then. Suppress. Wang Zhong didn't even take out the limitless sword. A huge palm formed by his energy descended from the sky. What move is this? Wu Liangzi's expression changed drastically. Emperor's Seal. It's a cultivation technique I created myself. Wang Zhong shouted. Bang! Wu Liangzi's entire body was scattered into ashes. What? The Demon King was killed in one move. How is this possible? The monarch of the Immortal Dynasty, Zhao Xiaodong, is too strong. We're not his match at all. On this day, the world was shocked. On this day, the Immortal Dynasty officially attacked the demon sect and eradicated the demon sect. 3 months later, the place with the densest immortal energy of the demon sect became the stronghold of the Immortal Mountain Sea. At the same time, the Immortal Dynasty also began to establish their territory here. Whoever was not convinced would be killed. Whoever had an opinion, come, I'll reason with you with physics. Whoever defected to the Immortal Dynasty would be checked. After confirming that they weren't evil cultivators, they would be thrown into the vanguard. Each person had to kill 10 evil cultivators before they could officially become a citizen of the Immortal Dynasty. In an instant, countless people defected to the Immortal Dynasty. The Immortal Dynasty was huge and no one could compare to it. In the blink of an eye, Wang Zhong was 210 years old. This year, Ziru was also old and looked like a 100-year-old woman. Zhao Xiaodong, am I still beautiful? Lying on the bed, Ziru murmured. Wang Zhong could see that the energy in Ziru's body was dissipating crazily, dissipating even faster than when she took the energy-dispersing pill. After experiencing the life and death of so many people, Wang Zhong also understood that before a cultivator died, their energy would dissipate. Their cultivation would drop rapidly, and when the last trace of energy dissipated, the cultivator would die. Silly girl, your birthmark is gone. Of course you're beautiful, Wang Zhong said as he stroked Ziru's wrinkles. You're lying to me again. I'm not. But it's fine. Anyway, I was so ugly at that time, but you were still willing to be with me, Ziru murmured. Xiaodong, I'm so tired. I want to sleep. Wang Zhong didn't say anything. He only said softly, rest. Don't worry about the rest, I'll take care of it. Ziru closed her eyes and smiled. In her mind, Ziru seemed to see the scene when she first met Zhao Xiaodong. When she met Mao Feng, she accidentally fought with Zhao Xiaodong. After that, the two of them ate together, stayed at her place, and pretended to get married. As the energy in her body leaked out crazily, her arms slowly fell. In the end, she left peacefully. Chapter 218. Ziru left. Just like Lin Wu, she left peacefully. This could be considered a small consolation in Wang Zhong's heart. Suddenly, he felt like laughing. Qi Wentian, Xiong Ba, LV Kai, and the others worked hard to prolong their lives and become immortals. However, when they saw the people around them leave one by one, he didn't know what they were thinking. Was it really good for a person to live until the end? After Ziru left, Wang Zhong also chose to abdicate. Now, the matters of the imperial court were basically handed over to his son, Zhao Jiangwo. This son of his was the one with the strongest spirit root among his children. Therefore, Wang Zhong gave him this name, Jiangwo. He hoped that he could be like him and govern the country steadily. Fortunately, Zhao Jiangwo didn't disappoint. Not only was Zhao Jiangwo powerful, but he was also proficient in both literature and martial arts since young. Therefore, Wang Zhong handed the country to him in advance. Aunt Zhu. Master. In the future, you will assist Zhao Jiangwo by his side. Normally, you will rest deep in the palace, understand? Looking at the huge fat pig in the courtyard, Wang Zhong said. Ever since the situation had stabilized, Wang Zhong had let Aunt Zhu live here. He had even designed a huge pigsty for her. Not only was this pig pen comfortable, but there were also 2 servant girls who would deliver food every day. Therefore, all these years, Aunt Zhu was raised to be extremely fat. However, don't be deceived by her fat appearance. Now, Aunt Zhu's strength was not inferior to any of the elders on the Immortal Mountain. Moreover, because demons had a lifespan several times longer than human cultivators, Aunt Zhu was still in her prime. Although he had asked Auntie Zhu to stay behind to guard this place, he still handed Auntie Zhu's soul over to Zhao Jiangwo and reminded him that this thing was to control Auntie Zhu. Otherwise, he couldn't guarantee that Auntie Zhu wouldn't listen to him. But thinking about it, Aunt Zhu shouldn't act rashly. It was very simple. She lived and ate well here. There was no need for her to rebel. Understood, Master. Aunt Zhu nodded. I'm leaving. My lifespan will probably be up in a few years. In the future. I'll leave it to you. Woo-woo. Unexpectedly, Auntie Zhu burst into tears. Master, I miss you. I want to be with you. Sigh, there's a difference between humans and demons. Just stay here. Wang Zhong sighed and finally left the place. Master, master. Sob, sob, sob. Auntie Zhu was very sad, but she knew that she would probably never see Wang Zhong again after he left. Sigh, I will protect this place for you, master. Auntie Zhu sighed and returned to the pigsty. After that, Wang Zhong returned to the Immortal Mountain. Ziru, Lin Wu, and Lu Hua's tombstones were all here. Here, the mountain was filled with fresh flowers. Master. This morning, a woman in red saw Wang Zhong come to the cemetery again. She walked over from the bushes. Little Blossom. Wang Zhong nodded slightly when he saw who it was. Master, you will be living here from now on, Little Flower said. Now, Little Flower was no longer the little fairy of the past. Instead, she was a flower shaped like a trumpet. Wang Zhong didn't know the specific species, but he guessed that it was a local wildflower. Little Flower was no longer like a little girl who cried from time to time. She was much more mature now and often wore red clothes to look at people. She was usually the closest to Ziru. After Ziru died, Little Flower planted her roots here. After all these years, flowers bloomed all over the mountain. Master, you said that humans go to the immortal world after death. What about us demons? After you leave, I don't know when I will leave this world. If I can still go to the immortal world, you have to take me with you. Little Flower sat at the side and propped her chin on her hand. Wang Zhong shook his head with a bitter smile. Your lifespan is even longer than Auntie Zhu's. Do you want to die so soon? Because I'm too bored. Everyone I know is dead. I'm afraid you don't have many years left. I'm suddenly afraid. Ever since Little Flower became stronger, she hadn't felt fear for many years. But now, she was suddenly afraid. She was afraid of being alone. If you can, go down the mountain and play when you have time. It's really boring to stay on this broken mountain all the time, Wang Zhong said. Okay, I know. Little Flower nodded. Wang Zhong sighed in his heart. Even Little Flower was afraid of being alone. He was basically alone now. Little Flower. Hey, Master, what's the matter? Anyway, I don't have anything to do. Let's go out incognito for a few years. We've been busy all these years and haven't had much time to play. Okay. Little Flower smiled happily. From that day onwards, Wang Zhong disguised himself as a successful businessman. Little Flower was his maid. One man and one flower traveled around the Celestial Dynasty. If they encountered injustice, Wang Zhong would secretly solve it. If they encountered strange things, he and Little Flower would watch a good show. If they encountered happy things, he and Little Flower would also be happy. Suddenly, many people said that they hadn't seen the previous ruler, Zhao Xiaodong, in a long time. Many people suspected that he was dead. Only those close to Wang Zhong knew that Zhao Xiaodong had gone out to travel. 30 years passed quietly. Wang Zhong found that he couldn't walk anymore. Little Flower didn't expect that these 30 years would be the happiest 30 years of her life. Zhao Xiaodong couldn't take it anymore. Master, you'll be fine. Little Flower cried as she looked at Wang Zhong on the bed. Out of all the heirs, Wang Zhong had only allowed Zhao Jiangwo to come. Jiangwo, I'm about to die. I've already said what I should say and teach you. There's no need to repeat it. Sob, father. Zhao Jiangwo cried. Wang Zhong struggled to get up. He walked out of the room and went to Ghost Sword Mountain. He shouted, "From now on, the master of the Celestial Mountain is Zhao Xiaodong. I, Zhao Xiaodong, will no longer interfere in worldly affairs." As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Zhong activated a wisp of soul power and placed it on the heaven-destroying general. If the Celestial Mountain was in trouble in the future, Wang Zhong's soul power would appear. This was the same move as Gao Dongtian's. He did this to do his best to protect the Celestial Mountain forever. After he was done, Wang Zhong's vitality was greatly damaged and he returned to his room. "I don't have long to live. Master sob." Little Flower cried. Zhao Jiangwo fainted from crying. Fortunately, there were only the two of them here. "Little Flower, don't tell anyone about my death. I'll protect the Celestial Mountain forever with my might." Wang Zhong believed that there were enemies in the dark. They didn't dare to show up because of him. Now that he was dead, it was best to hide the news of his death to protect the Celestial Mountain forever. "Master!" Little Flower hugged Wang Zhong's arm and cried. "Little Flower, I didn't expect you to be the one by my side in the end." Wang Zhong smiled. "Ziru, Lu Hua, Lin Wu, you must have gone to the world of immortals. Too bad I won't be coming back." "Master," Little Flower called out. Wang Zhong's hand slowly fell to his side and his body dissipated. Chapter 219. Quest Character: Zhao Xiaodong, son of the owner of the auspicious inn in Snow City, Zhao Dehai. Quest Objective: Live past 21 years old. Lifespan: 254 years old. Partner: 3. Your partners have lived as long as you, but in the end, they are ahead of you. Offspring: 14. Some of the offspring are very outstanding, but some have also gone astray, but you have punished them severely. Achievement Evaluation: The power of the Emperor, the prosperity of the world. In this life, you have done very well. Reward: 66,900 experience points. Saving memory: A white light flashed, and Wang Zhong, who was lying on the bed, opened his eyes. Seeing the amount of experience points this time, Wang Zhong was stunned. There are actually 66,900 experience points. This was simply more than the experience points from the previous games. After thinking carefully, Wang Zhong figured it out. In this life, not only did he let himself live to 21 years old, but he also solved the evil, overthrew the imperial court, and occupied the Celestial Mountain. Not only did he let the people live happily, but he also let the country's system, society, and culture achieve unprecedented development. Not only that, but his personal strength also became the world's #1. Therefore, with these points added together, it was normal for him to have more experience points. And now, Wang Zhong was excited. With so much experience points, it was definitely enough to restore his body. But, after restoring, it seemed that he had to find a way to leave. Just as he was thinking about this, Wang Zhong subconsciously activated his internal energy to support his body. There was no thought, it was just a natural habit of more than 200 years in the game. When he reacted, Wang Zhong couldn't help but be stunned. There shouldn't be any internal energy, but in his body. What's up with the ultimate sword? He now clearly felt that the ultimate sword in his abdomen seemed to have followed him. Isn't this a game? Why is the ultimate sword still in my body? Wang Zhong suddenly became excited. When the game returned, he didn't take out the ultimate sword. It wasn't on purpose, but he was already dead, so he didn't think too much. But now, it was still in his body. Soul transmigration, that's right, soul transmigration. Wang Zhong suddenly remembered that every time he played the game, although his identity and body were different, his face and soul were always the same. This limitless sword was in his soul, so it wasn't strange for it to follow him. The question was, if the limitless sword was real, then was this game also real? At this moment, Wang Zhong felt that there was a huge secret hidden behind this game. He didn't have the time to think about these things now. He had to recover his body first. In addition to the previous EXP, he now had a total of 76,123 EXP. Without hesitation, he purchased the Potion of Life. 10,000 EXP successfully exchanged for health liquid. 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 This time, he exchanged for a total of 4 bottles of liquid of life. As the medicinal liquid entered his body, Wang Zhong felt his entire body become refreshed. The parts of his body that he couldn't move before began to move. I really recovered. Wang Zhong wanted to laugh, but he held it in. The guards were still at the door, so he had to bear with it. He quietly got out of bed. Although his body had recovered, it was still too weak. Suddenly, Wang Zhong's heart skipped a beat. His body had already recovered, so what was the point of continuing this game? Thinking of this, Wang Zhong wanted to open the system to see if there was anything else he could buy. But at this time, the system opened itself, and a line of words appeared. Detected that the host's body has recovered, opening the exchange store. There was only one line of words in the store. Enter an item that appeared in the game, spend EXP to exchange for it. So it's like this. Wang Zhong nodded slightly. This game was very user-friendly. First, he just realized a serious problem. Although the limitless sword followed his soul into this world was different from that world. Here, there was no spiritual energy in the air for him to train his internal strength. This meant that although he had the limitless sword in his body, he couldn't use it. But if he could exchange for items that appeared in the game, then it would be different. Wang Zhong decisively entered. Spiritual root elixir. Spiritual root elixir. These were all things for cultivation. With these things, even if there was no spiritual energy in the air, it would still be barely enough for him to train, but it would be a waste of EXP. But then again, there were so many EXP, and since his body had recovered, it didn't matter. Spiritual root elixir. 3000 EXP per bottle. Spiritual root elixir. 500 EXP per pill. Seeing this price, Wang Zhong frowned. The price was not cheap. The spiritual root elixir was 3000 EXP per bottle. The effect of the spiritual root elixir was very powerful. In addition to the rapid recovery of internal strength, it was generally required for leveling up. As for the spiritual root elixir, its effect was only a small amount of internal strength recovery. But it was enough. Wang Zhong bought 5 bottles of spiritual root elixir without hesitation, spending 15,000 EXP in one go. Now, he only had 21,123 EXP left. It seemed that he had a lot of EXP left, but Wang Zhong knew that if he continued to train, he would need even more spiritual root elixir. These EXP are really easy to spend, Wang Zhong said as he drank a small mouthful of spiritual root elixir. In an instant, there was a feeling in his body. Wang Zhong quickly followed the circulation of the skill in the game and began to circulate throughout his body. A gust of internal strength slowly rose. However, as the internal strength rose, Wang Zhong felt as if his body was about to explode. Wang Zhong was naturally very clear about this feeling. What was going on? In the path of cultivation, one had to pay attention to the order and progress. If one were to blindly eat and let the internal strength grow, not only would it not succeed, it would also backfire. This was also the reason why the foundation was very important. He had been paralyzed in bed for many years, and the muscles in his body had long atrophied. So, at present, his foundation was not good. No, my body is too weak. I have to slowly recuperate during this period. Wang Zhong heaved a sigh of relief and began to recover his body. After a night, Wang Zhong sensed the door and his heart skipped a beat. Shan Shuang was at the door again, deliberately not coming in. Monitoring me? Wang Zhong did not say anything and just silently waited. At this time, Shan Shuang finally came in. Click. Shen Shuang opened the door and smiled. Wang Zhong, you're awake. Wang Zhong slowly opened his eyes. You know I'm awake. Shen Shuang came over. I'm just guessing. Well, every time you come over, why do you guard my door and watch me? Wang Zhong asked. You're really amazing. You're already like this, but you can still sense this? Shen Shuang said. You haven't answered me. Well, actually, I really wanted to take care of you, but now I've changed my mind. Wang Zhong frowned, not quite understanding Shen Shuang's meaning. Wang Zhong, you are not paralyzed, right? Can you move your hands and feet? Shen Shuangshuang suddenly asked. Chapter 220. Hearing this, Wang Zhong looked at Shen Shuangshuang coldly. At this moment, he was already considering whether to get rid of Shen Shuangshuang directly and create an accident scene. He had never done this kind of thing before, but there was an accident killer in his previous profession who specialized in creating all kinds of accidents. There were a few scenes that were more suitable for this place. For example, Shen Shuangshuang accidentally fell and hit her head in the corner of the wall. Another example was Shen Shuangshuang eating a steamed bun on the table, which could make her choke to death. In short, there were at least 7 kinds of accidents in this room that could make Shen Shuangshuang die. Seeing Wang Zhong's gaze, Shen Shuangshuang suddenly felt a chill down her spine and quickly said, "I don't mean any harm." Wang Zhong decided to figure out her purpose first. "Tell me in detail, why are you here?" This Shen Shuangshuang definitely had another purpose. "Because you are the benefactor of my family," Shen Shuangshuang suddenly said. You killed the group of people in the caravan, remember? That group of people and I have a grudge," Wang Zhong said. "Well, it's a grudge for you, but it's also a grudge for us. My father was doing business and borrowed money from those people, but we didn't expect that the interest would compound. We couldn't afford it even after selling 3 houses. In the end, my father was forced to commit suicide by jumping off a building. Is that so?" Shen Shuangshuang nodded slightly. "Later, they caught my mother and me. I thought I was dead, but that night, you came in." Wang Zhong remembered what happened at that time. The caravan, because of this, forced his parents to death when he was a child. Later, he was sold by the caravan to an underground boxing ring for children. With his outstanding strength, he was quickly spotted by an assassin organization. Since then, on the surface, he was a veterinarian. In fact, he was a veterinarian. But secretly, he was nicknamed the Cold-Faced Killer. At that time, after finishing the assassination mission on hand, he accidentally found clues about his parents being forced to their deaths. His parents had been tricked by a gangster in the caravan, who had borrowed a lot of money. In the end, his family was ruined. Thus, he secretly took care of that guy. But he didn't expect the caravan to find out. That guy was already a small leader of the caravan. Now that the small leader was dead, the boss naturally had to act. Thus, a bloody storm unfolded. The boss of the caravan issued a bounty of 1 million federal coins for his head. In the end, Wang Zhong secretly dealt with the boss of the caravan again. That was why there was no kill order. And he was indeed sick at that time. After he fell ill, he entered this place. "So, you came here to repay a debt of gratitude?" Wang Zhong asked. "Well, I just want to see what the person who saved me and my mother looks like," Shen Shuangshuang said. Wang Zhong didn't know if what Shen Shuangshuang said was true or not. But it didn't matter. He would leave here sooner or later anyway. "Brother Wang Zhong, is your body really okay?" "How can you tell?" Shen Shuangshuang squeezed out a smile. "Although I'm a nurse, I used to be a surgeon. When I cleaned your body for the first time, I noticed that the muscles in your hands and legs seemed to be lively." "Is that so?" In an instant, Wang Zhong reached out and grabbed Shen Shuangshuang's neck. "Then tell me, should I kill you?" "Brother Wang, I don't mean any harm. If I wanted to betray you, I would have said so." Wang Zhong was still holding her neck. "Then what's your purpose?" "I just came in to see you. I thought that if you were suffering here, I would help you. But since you're fine, I'm preparing to leave in a few days." Shen Shuangshuang hurriedly said, "But since you're fine, why did you choose to stay here?" "You don't need to know this." Wang Zhong let go of his hand and sat up slowly. "You must have pulled some strings to get in, right?" Shen Shuangshuang rubbed her neck and came to a realization. "No wonder. After all, you have to hide from them." "Who am I hiding from?" Wang Zhong found it strange. He knew that his enemies were all dead. "Your enemy, Chen Qing. He's already dead. My knife pierced his heart." Wang Zhong said calmly. You don't know? Shen Shuangshuang was stunned. Know what? He's a mirror man. The position of his heart is opposite to a normal person's. That time you only made him faint. The news of his death was fake. What? I just found out not long ago. Not only is Chen Qing not dead, but because you helped him get rid of his boss, Chen Qing is now the boss of the caravan. His position is higher than before. Then why didn't he kill me? Wang Zhong said. I'm not sure. But to him, you're not a threat because you're paralyzed. His blind mission is to command the subordinates of the previous boss. Shen Shuangshuang analyzed. If you know he's still alive, will you go out? Wang Zhong glanced at Shen Shuangshuang and asked, Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you? Why would you kill me? I already said that if I wanted to harm you, I would have done it long ago. Anyway, if you want to go out, I can help you. Tell me about it. I'm already very familiar with the gods here. When the time comes, I can give them some medicine and let them sleep for a while. No need. I can leave by myself. Wang Zhong looked at the metal door in front of him. When his inner chi technique improved, he would be able to leap onto roofs and vault over walls. When the time comes, he could leave directly. Leave by yourself? That's fine. But if you need, I can make some fake documents for you. This way, you'll have a proper identity outside. Okay then. This Shen Shuangshuang seemed to be quite useful. Wang Zhong agreed. At the same time, that Chen Qing was still alive. According to his calculations, the reason why Chen Qing didn't do anything to him was because he was paralyzed. On the other hand, Chen Qing's first priority was to seize power after his boss died. When everything was settled, Chen Qing would be the one to slowly settle the score with him. It seemed that he really had to leave early. Wang Zhong said, Shen Shuangshuang, don't mention anything about me to anyone. Leave after you're done. Okay. Wang Zhong washed his body. After Shen Shuangshuang left, he started to cultivate. First, he had to train his body's foundation. Only with a strong body could he cultivate his inner qi. At present, Wang Zhong didn't know what level his spirit root was. He couldn't check it himself. He could only rely on his experience from his previous life to slowly explore. During this period, Wang Zhong also arranged for Shen Sisi to buy a lot of news from the outside world. He found out that Chen Qing was not only living well, but he also cleared his name and was now the chairman of a large corporation. It was very impressive. From some of the news, Wang Zhong could deduce that Chen Qing had already consolidated his power very well. Most of his former boss's capable subordinates were nowhere to be seen. It was obvious that Chen Qing had taken care of them. 5 days later, on a good day, Wang Zhong was pushed to the square by Shen Shuangshuang. He hadn't been here for a few days, but there were many newcomers. There was a muscular man. Wang Zhong saw him coming in and smiled at him. What are you smiling at? Wang Zhong looked at him expressionlessly. He's called Strong Boulder the Giant, an underground boxer. He was sent here because he intentionally killed people in every competition. Ma Ku the Ripper said. Is that so? He's wrong about one thing. Strong Boulder was chained up by a huge chain. He smiled sinisterly. The other reason I came in is to look for you. Chapter 221. Wang Zhong was expressionless. You're looking for me? Yup. I received a sum of money for that. Strong Boulder smiled. Chen Qing told you to come? Aha, looks like you've heard that he's not dead. Sigh, so he really did come. Wang Zhong sighed. Don't worry. Brother Chen told me to play with you. After all, if it weren't for you, he wouldn't be standing at the peak. How do you want to play with me? Wang Zhong glanced at his chains. You seem to be chained up. That's not a big problem for me. You're paralyzed right now, so you can't feel any pain. It's boring. However, I heard that you can only feel pain in your face, so I've decided to feed you shit. Ha, interesting. You should still have a sense of taste, so if Brother Chen finds out about this, he'll definitely be very satisfied, Strong Boulder said to himself. Unfortunately, you can't deal with me. You can't break free from your chains. Then let's wait and see. Alright, let's wait and see. The time for relief passed very quickly. Shen Shuang came in again and pushed Wang Zhong out. What did that Strong Boulder guy say to you? He seemed very fierce, Shen Shuang muttered. It's nothing. He's just a small fry. When Wang Zhong pushed him out, he turned his head and glanced at Strong Boulder. He smiled. Strong Boulder was slightly surprised when he saw this. How can this guy's neck be turned around? He was very curious, but he was just a paralyzed person. No one would pay attention to a paralyzed assassin. In the next few days, Wang Zhong trained himself in an orderly manner. On this day, when Shen Shuang brought the food over again, her expression didn't look right. Do you have something to say? Wang Zhong asked. You have to be careful today. When I passed by the other prison cells, I saw quite a few of Chen Qing's subordinates. They seemed to have snuck in. Really? Wang Zhong did not find this strange. It's fine. You should leave early. I've brought you a knife. There's no need. Wang Zhong shook his head. These days, the cultivation of his internal strength had been perfected. He really didn't need these things. This, Shen Shuang didn't know what to do all of a sudden, but when she saw how confident Wang Zhong was, she chose to trust him. Have you finished preparing my documents in the past few days? Wang Zhong asked again. Yes, it's done. But how do you plan to leave this place? Just give me your number. All right then. Shen Shuang didn't know what Wang Zhong would do next, but she thought that since he was so calm, he should be fine. At night, the prison, which had been quiet all this time, suddenly became noisy. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. In an instant the alarm in the prison rang. Quick, someone is breaking out of prison. A prison guard ran over from the door. Hurry up and help. All right. The guard at the door left immediately. Now was the time to use people. Of course, no one would care about guarding here. Seeing this, Wang Zhong knew that today was probably going to be interesting. Judging from the sound, it was obviously chaotic outside. There was a riot in the prison. This was a federal heavy-duty prison. It was usually heavily guarded, but something like this actually happened. There was no need to guess. It must be unusual. Ring ring ring. The alarm in the prison rang loudly. After a while, more and more prisoners appeared outside, and the noise became louder and louder. Wang Zhong saw that the two guards who had been guarding him threw away their helmets and ran over. These prisoners are crazy. Call for backup, call for backup. Following which, the two of them completely ignored Wang Zhong and escaped. Wang Zhong understood that at this moment, this place had become the prisoner's world. He should be here. Well, let's go. Boss Chen said that he wanted to take a video of him with his own eyes. Ha ha ha. This voice was obviously Strong Boulder's. I've been unhappy with him for a long time. Horse Ripper laughed. So many old friends. Wang Zhong lay on the bed and looked at the ceiling. This was going to be interesting. They were probably here for him. Tap tap tap. The iron bars at the door were being knocked. A large group of people was already guarding the door. Strong Boulder, Marco, Mask, and Poison Lowly were all there. Sob sob sob. So this is the grim killer. So pitiful, Poison Lowly said. Follow me if you want, but don't block my way. If not, I'll kill you all. Strong Boulder flashed his huge fist. Beside him was a group of burly men. Clearly, these people were sent in by Chen Qing. Boss Chen is really generous this time. He sent so many people in just to kill one person, Marco said. Can you all still get out? Mask asked coldly. Of course. Strong Boulder shrugged. The riot this time was caused by us. Since we can do it once, we can do it again. When the time comes, I'll be able to get out. As Strong Boulder spoke, he ordered his men to open the door. It was unknown where they got the key. The door was quickly pushed open. Wang Zhong lay on the bed and said expressionlessly, "Strong Boulder, you finally came." "Yes, I even brought some gifts." Strong Boulder smiled and waved a woven bag in his hand. "Good stuff. It's been a night. It must be cold," Wang Zhong said. "Haha, it's fine. I'll get you some later. I'll turn on the phone first to make Brother Chen happy." Strong Boulder used some tricks to get a phone. His goal was simple. He wanted to show Chen Qing Wang Zhong's appearance. The phone connected to the internet. Soon, a video appeared. At the other end of the video was a man with a sinister gaze. Strong Boulder said respectfully, "Brother Chen, according to the plan, it's done." As he spoke, he aimed the video at Wang Zhong, who was lying on the bed. "Ahaha." Seeing the weak, helpless, and pitiful Wang Zhong on the bed, Chen Qing in the video laughed loudly. He held a glass of red wine and sat at a dining table, elegantly eating a steak. Beside him, a beautiful woman was massaging him. It was as comfortable as it could be. "Cold-faced doctor, you didn't expect this, did you?" "I, Chen Qing, am not dead," Chen Qing said with a smile. Wang Zhong was expressionless. "I really didn't expect this." "Heh, you didn't expect this either. I'm now the boss of the cartel. The people who entered your prison this time were all sent by me, right?" "Yes, I didn't expect you to be so capable." "Humph, speaking of which, it's all thanks to you. If it weren't for you, my boss wouldn't have died, and I wouldn't have reached this stage today. What do you think?" Wang Zhong said, "So this is how you thank me?" "Heh, of course. Let's cut to the chase. I'll make you eat *T today." Chen Qing shouted, "After all, you are someone who killed me once. I must reward you well. What do you think?" "Boss Chen." At this moment, Mako suddenly rushed out and came to the front of the video. "Hey, what are you doing?" Strong Boulder shouted. "Strong Boulder, don't be nervous. Let him speak," Chen Qing said calmly in the video. "All right, kid, hurry up and speak," Strong Boulder said. Mako smiled. "Boss Chen, I believe you know who I am. I have a way to make people suffer extreme pain. I'm willing to serve you and let him feel this pain as long as you can help me leave. I, Mako, am willing to serve you. This is a small matter. Anyway, I'll arrange for the next prison riot," Chen Qing said. Chapter 222. All right. With Boss Chen's words, I, Mako, can rest assured. Mako smiled at Wang Zhong. "I'll perform a small surgery on you later to open your chest. Don't worry, I won't let you die. I'll just let you watch as your chest is dissected." "Ha ha ha, interesting." Chen Qing also laughed in the video. "If that's the case, I have a way to make him suffer." Mask walked out. "I want to go out too." Sure. "As long as you can make him feel pain, it won't be a problem to let you go out," Chen Qing said indifferently. Sob sob sob, I can go out too." Poison Loli also laughed. All right. Anything is fine." Chen Qing shrugged. "All right, I'll start now," Strong Boulder said while holding feces. Sob sob sob, I think I should start first. Otherwise, I'll be covered in feces. It stinks, Poison Loli said coquettishly, but her words were very vicious. When Strong Boulder heard that, it seemed to be the case. Mako and Mask also nodded slightly. They were going to make a move later. They didn't want to make a move on someone covered in feces. Poison Loli was just about to go up when Mako said, "Let me do it." No one knew where he found a knife. "I'll open his chest first. But with my precise methods, I guarantee he won't die." After saying that, the knife was about to slice down. However, at this moment, a cold hand suddenly intercepted Mako's knife. Then, Wang Zhong swung the knife violently, and it instantly hit Strong Boulder's arm that was holding the phone. "Ah!" Strong Boulder cried out in pain. His phone fell to the ground and the screen turned black. Wang Zhong didn't stop. He grabbed Marco's neck next. Bang! Wang Zhong slammed Marco's head against the wall. Everyone was stunned. How could a paralyzed person move? As for Marco, he was smashed until he was dizzy. Wang Zhong slowly walked down from the bed and turned his head. How troublesome. You're not paralyzed. Strong Boulder pointed at Wang Zhong with a horrified expression. It was rumored that Wang Zhong was an assassin. He was very skilled. How could such a person be fine? I'll kill you. At this time, Marco was furious from being smashed. He turned his head and charged at Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong reached out and grabbed Marco's neck with ease. He laughed and said, "You want to disembowel someone like you? Everyone, attack, together. Finish him," Marco said with difficulty. Wang Zhong nodded. "Your courage is commendable." He reached out, grabbed Marco's neck, and slammed him against the wall. Marco's head instantly flattened. However, he wasn't dead yet. He was just twitching non-stop. Mask, Strong Boulder, and their lackeys charged over. Wang Zhong's expression didn't change. After cultivating for so many days, although his strength was far less than 1/10, 0.000 of his previous strength, it was enough to deal with this group of ordinary people. With a wave of his hand, his energy transformed into an invisible fist and smashed toward Zhong Xian. Chi. The group of people were all smashed to the ground with just one punch. It was a one-hit kill. Beating people up was just that simple. Strong Boulder's body was good, so he actually wasn't dead yet. He looked at Wang Zhong in horror with his face covered in blood. How did you? Are all the boxing champions nowadays like this? Wang Zhong was very disappointed. Even if he didn't have any energy left, it would be too easy to deal with someone like this if he still had his previous body. Go, I won't see you off. Wang Zhong kicked at Strong Boulder's jaw, instantly snapping his neck. Sob, so powerful. Venomous Loli actually didn't leave. Instead, she cried out, "You're not afraid of me?" Wang Zhong frowned. Although he had dealt with many people, he was a very ordinary person. Everything he had done before was purely for the sake of the mission. Therefore, he felt rather uncomfortable when he saw these irrational people. This was especially true for Venomous Loli. Logically speaking, she should be running away in fear. Of course I'm afraid, but I think I should be able to deal with you. Venomous Loli was still smiling, but her smile gradually became arrogant, sinister, and cruel. Her lowly face was just her disguise. Oh, is that so? I really want to know how you're going to deal with me. Wang Zhong said indifferently. You might not know, but the moment you attacked, I had already spread the poisonous fog here. This kind of gas can make people unconscious for 3 minutes. I'm very happy. You've been fighting for so long. Do you feel numb now? It really is. Wang Zhong nodded. Sob. Cold-faced doctor, I didn't expect you to die in my hands. My decision to come in was indeed right. He. Venomous Loli laughed. Her originally delicate face became more and more ferocious. It seems like you came in to find me, Wang Zhong said, and you are also an assassin. Yes, it's a pity that I'm not as famous as you. But it doesn't matter. After I deal with you, I'll think of a way to leave this place. Sob. I'll be famous. Wang Zhong sighed. You have great ambitions. Unfortunately, you won't have this chance in the future. What do you mean? Wang Zhong slowly walked towards her and said coldly, Your poison doesn't seem to have any effect on me. He was indeed poisoned previously, but Wang Zhong used his strength to expel the poison immediately, so it did not affect him at all. Impossible, Before Venomous Loli could finish speaking, Wang Zhong easily pinched her neck. Such a beautiful face. You'll definitely cry after a few punches. No. Venomous Loli's eyes widened, but Wang Zhong did not hesitate to throw a punch. Bang. After a few punches, she did not even have the chance to cry. Not long after, venomous Loli was beaten into a pig's head. Crack! Without the slightest hesitation, Wang Zhong crushed her neck. After looking at the pile of people on the ground and confirming that there were no survivors, Wang Zhong pulled out the wires from the ceiling. After electrocuting a corpse a few times, a flame quickly ignited. Wang Zhong piled these people together, and the fire grew bigger and bigger. Today, there are no more cold-faced killers here. Looking at these corpses, Wang Zhong felt a little helpless. He suddenly realized that his nickname was a little Chunibu. However, he swore to the heavens that this nickname was not given to him by himself. It was given to him by outsiders after he carried out a few missions. He felt very helpless. Then, he put on a large shirt and quickly ran to the place where the commotion was happening. Today, we have to leave this place. Yes, brothers, let's charge out. Outside, the prisoners who were causing trouble shouted with all their might. In fact, they knew that they could not leave, but it would be a waste if they did not shout to join in the fun. Wang Zhong walked very quickly and shuttled through the crowd. As he kept his head down, no one noticed him. Soon, he came to the toilet. In this place, he could reach the roof by following the wall. The wall was very high, so no one was guarding this place. Wang Zhong raised his head and looked behind him. Then, taking advantage of the night, he suddenly activated his strength and climbed up. Ring ring ring. For a moment, not only did the alarm in the prison ring, but even the fire alarm went off. More than an hour later, the bomb squad rushed in and suppressed the situation. At this moment, Wang Zhong had already arrived at the street outside. He came to the window of a nearby house and took 2 pieces of clothing. Wang Zhong frowned. It was female clothing. This meant that the person living inside was a girl. Helpless, he could only throw it away and continue walking. Soon, he saw a flowery shirt at the door of another room. Well, although the taste was a little bad, it was barely acceptable. Shen Shuangshuang was at home at this moment, nervously looking at the TV screen. According to the news, a riot had broken out in the prison Wang Zhong was in. Not only that, there was even a fire in one of the cells. Due to the fire trucks not being able to enter the cell, the fire spread and affected several other cells. It was said that many people were burned to death, and their bodies were stuck together. Wang Zhong, I wonder how he is? Shen Shuangshuang really could not figure out how Wang Zhong could leave under such circumstances. Ring ring ring. At this moment, her cell phone rang. Shen Shuangshuang was stunned. It was an unknown number. She picked it up and the person on the other side said, "At your door." Chapter 223. This voice was obviously Wang Zhong's. He really escaped. For a moment, Shen Shuangshuang's heart was filled with mixed feelings. Although she really admired Wang Zhong and was grateful to him for saving her and her mother, strictly speaking, he was a killer with a high risk. What if he did something bad to her? I'm still a child. Dong dong dong. Shen Shuangshuang knocked on the door coldly. Now that Wang Zhong was outside the door, Shen Shuangshuang had no choice but to open the door. At the door, Wang Zhong walked in wearing a checkered shirt. Before he came, Wang Zhong had already figured out Shen Shuangshuang's door. When he was downstairs, he used a public phone to call her. It couldn't be helped. Shen Shuangshuang had volunteered to help. He wouldn't be polite. So when he saw Shen Shuangshuang's pale face, he directly ignored it. Shen Shuangshuang lived alone at home. Wang Zhong already knew this. Her mother lived in another city. Shen Shuangshuang lived here purely for work. Is there anything to eat? I'm a little hungry. Yes. Shen Shuangshuang quickly nodded. At this moment, she didn't know how to face Wang Zhong. When you came over, no one saw you? Shen Shuangshuang asked worriedly. Don't worry. No one noticed. That's good. If you want to go out in the future, I can help you with your makeup. Shen Shuangshuang pointed at the things on the dressing table not far away. I'm pretty good at makeup. We'll talk about this later. Wang Zhong touched his chin. He wasn't worried about his appearance, identity, and future life. After all, he was a killer in his previous life. Didn't he live well in the underground world? Now, for him, there were a few things he had to do. First, he wanted to live a peaceful life for a few days. Second, after he figured out the situation, he would find Chen Qing and get rid of him. After that, he began to conceal his identity and live a peaceful life. In fact, he was not a person who liked to fight and kill. He no longer participated in his previous life as an assassin. I will be living here for the next few days. Don't worry, I will calculate the rent and meals accordingly. However, I don't have any money on hand at the moment, but I will have it soon, Wang Zhong said as he ate the noodles cooked by Shen Shuangshuang. It doesn't matter. Shen Shuangshuang waved her hand. Then you can stay here for the next few days. Don't go out for the time being. Although your appearance hasn't appeared on TV much, it's still possible for someone to see it. It doesn't matter. Once I've dealt with Chen Qing, I'll have a way to make some information about me disappear. Wang Zhong spoke in an indifferent tone. His organization was still very powerful. All right, I'll help you tidy up your room. Shen Shuangshuang turned around and left. Wang Zhong ate his noodles. Just as he finished, the system panel flashed in front of Wang Zhong. Successfully unlocked new reborn character. Ugly Monster Tang Yi. Mission objective. I don't want to be looked down upon, ridiculed, and laughed at because of my ugly appearance. I want to gain respect and dignity. Ugly Monster Tang Yi, the worst start again. Wang Zhong felt that he was used to this kind of worst start. Previously, it was either because his body was weak or because his family was so poor that they couldn't afford to eat. He met his gambler father and had to eat worms every day to survive. After that, he was so miserable that he couldn't live past 21 years old. And this time, he was actually an ugly monster. There was no worst, only worse. Anyway, it was just miserable. But thinking about it, if these reborn people were living well, why would they need him to be reborn? Wasn't the purpose of his rebirth to change these people's lives? I'm done eating. Wang Zhong closed the panel and stood up. I'm going to take a shower and rest early. You can tidy up the room. Oh. Shen Shuangshuang walked out and passed him something like a bath towel. Wang Zhong quickly went to take a bath and returned to his room without avoiding arousing suspicion. He closed the door and locked it to prevent people from peeking in the middle of the night. Then, he decisively opened the system. Let's start the game, Wang Zhong said in his heart. Now, he couldn't wait to start the game. Cultivation consumed too much EXP. How could he not earn more EXP? Reborn character. Ugly Monster Tang Yi. Character introduction. Ugly Monster Tang Yi, abandoned by his parents since the day he was born, grew up in an orphanage. Because of his ugly appearance, Tang Yi was bullied in the orphanage since he was young. After school, although he worked hard to learn martial arts, hoping to have a place in this country where martial arts were prevalent, he was still looked down by his classmates. Because the woman he loved rejected his pursuit, he didn't have the heart to learn martial arts. After graduation, he couldn't find a good job because of his ugly appearance. Although he tried his best to live, he still couldn't accomplish anything until the day he died because of his ugly appearance. In the end, he lived alone in a house less than 10 square meters and died alone. Mission objective. I don't want to be looked down upon, ridiculed, and laughed at because of my ugly appearance. I want to gain respect and dignity. Mission completion reward. Randomly awarded experience points. Although there wasn't much information, Wang Zhong learned a lot of important information. The country he was about to go to was a country where martial arts were prevalent. Previously, when he saw that he was ugly, Wang Zhong was still thinking about how to survive, how to complete the mission, and how to gain respect. He thought about it, there was an orphanage, which meant that it was a modern society. Then, if he wanted to gain respect, he could consider becoming a good teacher or a good politician. In short, he just had to work for the welfare of the people. Or, he could have a successful career, become an entrepreneur, a boss, and then do some good things like donate money and build schools. But after reading further, he realized that it was a place where martial arts were prevalent. It seems that this life is more troublesome, Wang Zhong thought. First of all, the prevalence of martial arts meant that the social structure and way of doing things were definitely different from the society he lived in. Secondly, it also meant that the society should be carried out around martial arts. Then, there might be very few situations where music, novels, and movies could be used. Sigh, I originally wanted to be a plagiarist or something. This mission is much easier, but now it seems that it's not that simple. These thoughts were said so much, but in fact, they were just flashes. The next moment, a white light flashed, and Wang Zhong's eyes were dark. Miss, you're about to give birth. Where's your family? The voice was polite and continued, without your family's signature, it's very difficult for our hospital. Wang Zhong instantly understood that he was in the hospital. Doctor, please help me. If my parents know that I'm pregnant, they'll kill me. A crisp female voice shouted anxiously. You're making it very difficult for me. Your parents didn't come, but your boyfriend should be here, right? He doesn't want me anymore. Please, help me. Ouch. My stomach hurts. Wang Zhong was instantly speechless. It turned out that he was an illegitimate child and couldn't be exposed. No wonder he was abandoned. Sigh, let's go to the delivery room first. The doctor was helpless. A few nurses took action. Dr. Hao, this girl doesn't have her family's signature. What if something happens? She's still so young, so it should be her first child. Moreover, she hasn't done a prenatal checkup, so we don't know her blood type. Before the nurse could finish, Dr. Hao said helplessly, the key is that if we don't save her now, she'll definitely die. But if we save her, there might be a glimmer of hope. Then, I don't care. You guys get ready. I'll personally deliver her. Her indicators are quite normal, so she should be able to give birth naturally. All right then. Chapter 224. Wah wah wah. Wang Zhong originally did not want to cry, but this time his eyes seemed to be unable to open. The nurse beside him kept patting him and muttering why the child was not crying. This was the level of modern professional medical treatment. Compared to the midwives in ancient times, the nurse immediately noticed that something was wrong with Wang Zhong. This was because children had to cry when they were just born. Only by crying could they learn to breathe. However, Wang Zhong actually knew how to breathe, so he did not need to cry. However, in the nurse's eyes, that was not right. He had no choice but to cry in order to act normal. Wah wah wah. As a crisp sound was heard, the woman on the hospital bed sighed in relief. Dr. Hao and the nurses in the ward also breathed a sigh of relief. Thanks to the medical technology of modern society, although there were some difficulties in the beginning, fortunately, both mother and child were safe in the end. However, after seeing the child's face, the doctor and the nurses were all shocked. Is it a son or a daughter? The woman asked weakly. It's a boy. Dr. Hao sighed. It's just... What's wrong? You didn't have a checkup before you died, right? The doctor asked. The girl nodded slightly. I'm still in school. I don't know what to do. Sob, sob, sob. Sigh, what a sin. The doctor shook his head. The child has already been born, but there is a large scar on his face. You can also call it a birthmark. Birthmark? Yes, the area is quite large. With the current medical technology, even when the child grows up, I'm afraid that it will not be easy to remove this scar. It may accompany him for the rest of his life. Dr. Hao said something that broke Wang Zhong's heart. No wonder I've never thought of plastic surgery when I'm so ugly. It turned out that even plastic surgery could not remove this birthmark. Wang Zhong, who knew the truth, cried even harder. How about this? Although you've paid the fees, you're now in your confinement period. Someone must take care of you. What's your parents' phone number? You must tell them about this. Can I think about it for a while? All right then. Dr. Howe nodded. Have you thought of a name? The girl shook her head. Her eyes were filled with uneasiness and helplessness. After all, she was still underage. How could she know what to do now? Her mind was in a mess. Then you should rest for a while. I hope you can ask your parents to come over in the afternoon. If they can't, we can only call the police. However, after calling the police, it's very likely that you'll have a criminal record. This won't be good for your future martial arts career. Do you understand? Got it. Thank you, doctor. Then rest well. Then, the nurse brought in some nutritious food for the girl to eat, and the group of people left. The girl ate something and then picked up Wang Zhong. After seeing Wang Zhong's face, the girl's expression froze and she burst into tears. Child, I'm sorry. Wang Zhong wanted to curse in his heart, but his voice hadn't developed yet, so he couldn't speak at all. Child, my poor child. Mother has no choice. Then, Wang Zhong drank the milk for a while. He felt dizzy and fell asleep. When he woke up, he suddenly felt that the warm feeling was gone. The girl kissed his forehead. I hope there's a kind person who will take you in. Mother can't bring you along. I'm sorry. There were rustling sounds. Wang Zhong knew that she was putting on her clothes. Wang Zhong didn't cry or make a fuss because there was no need. Bam! There was the sound of the door closing. Half an hour later, the nurses rushed in. Hey, where's the girl? Why is she missing? Her child is still here. Oh no, she must have run away. Call the police. Soon, the police came to register. However, because the girl came in a hurry to give birth, she didn't register her identity card. No one knew where she came from. In the end, the matter was left unsettled. This child will be taken care of in your hospital for the time being. When he's older, if you can't find his family, you can only send him to the orphanage. The policewoman said to the nurses. Then, she glanced at Wang Zhong. Sigh, how pitiful. He was born with such a big birthmark on his face and no one wants him. Sigh. After that, Wang Zhong stayed in the hospital. Fortunately, the nurses and doctors were good people. He was well taken care of. This child is so sensible. He doesn't even cry. A fat nurse sighed. It's a pity that his face is a little ugly. Otherwise, I can ask him to take care of my relative who can't get pregnant. Isn't that so? If his face was better, he could find a family to adopt him. It's a pity. Wang Zhong sighed when he heard that. Sure enough, although the world was different, it was a world where looks mattered. This child doesn't have a name yet. Let's give him a name. Dr. Howe, what do you think? The fat nurse saw Dr. Howe enter the ward and asked. Dr. Howe thought about it and said casually, This year is the 1000th anniversary of the founding of the Tang Federation. Let's call him Tang Yi. This is a child of the motherland. So that's how I got this name. Although it was a little casual, it didn't matter. In the blink of an eye, a year had passed. Just as Wang Zhong guessed, the police couldn't find the whereabouts of his biological mother. It was as if she had evaporated. During this period, although he had been living in the hospital, the nurses found many kind-hearted people who wanted to take him in. However, many people shook their heads when they saw his face. He's too ugly. Is there a good-looking child? He's so ugly. No girl will like him in the future. Damn, who would want such an ugly child? Isn't that so? Although I can't have children, I wouldn't want such an ugly child even if you gave me one. One by one, they chattered. Wang Zhong heard all these words. Although he roughly knew his fate in the future, hearing these voices still made him very uncomfortable. Sigh, this child is getting bigger and bigger. Since you don't want him, send him to the orphanage. Finally, Dr. Howe spoke. There was no other way. Seeing that the child was getting bigger and bigger, the hospital couldn't keep Wang Zhong forever. All right then. I'll contact the orphanage in the city right away. Okay. 3 days later, someone finally came to pick up Wang Zhong. During this period of time, Wang Zhong had gained some understanding of this world. This was a country called the Tang Federation. Martial arts were prevalent. He could often hear the nurses chatting about what kind of martial arts his relative practiced and how he was accepted by Huaqing University or some other university. As such, Wang Zhong understood the situation. This was a low-tech world. Martial arts were weaker than the vigor kung fu in his previous life, but the technology was more advanced. Although there were many martial arts experts, they were still not enough in the face of guns and cannons. On this day, Wang Zhong sat alone in the hospital corridor, looking at the people coming and going. Because the whole nation practiced martial arts, most of the people here were stronger. Of course, there were also some who were not suitable for martial arts. They were in ordinary jobs. Generally speaking, experts who practiced martial arts were greatly welcomed here. Today, he was wearing new clothes that the nurses bought for him with money. He carried a small school bag with some of his toys inside. Some of them were sent by kind-hearted people. Although he didn't want to play with them, they still sent a lot of them. Soon, a nurse walked over. "Tang Yi, Director Lin is here to pick you up. Let's go." Wang Zhong understood that he was going to be sent to the orphanage. He nodded and said in a childish voice, "Nurse, Dr. Hao, thank you. The new book, Devil Players, is recommended. Everyone, go there and vote. It's useless no matter how much you vote for this book. Please support it. I'm dying of anxiety." Chapter 225. This child is so obedient. Yeah, after taking care of him for over a year, I really can't bear to let him go. The nurses all had tears in their eyes as they sighed emotionally. This was the first time Wang Zhong was discharged from a hospital and saw the outside world. At first glance, this world was similar to the yellow soil planet he came from. There were wide roads, streets filled with cars, and pedestrians hurrying on their way. Wang Zhong was carried by a nurse and handed over to a lady in a black suit. "Director Lin, Tang Yi, this child, will be handed over to you from now on. And, don't worry, our Ling Tian orphanage will take good care of him." Director Lin took over Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong did not say anything. He leaned his head and rested on Director Lin's shoulder. After that, he was carried into a car and driven away. On the way, Wang Zhong looked around curiously. Although this society was more or less the same as the Yellow Earth planet, the difference was that martial arts were prevalent here. Along the streets, there were many martial arts halls. There was also a group of people sparring in the plaza. On the large screen in the shopping mall, there was a broadcast of a certain master accepting disciples. "Inner Chi Ha," Wang Zhong thought to himself as he listened to the words in the advertisement. After being in this world for a year, he had heard this word more than once. In general, everyone's training revolved around inner chi. Which was inner chi? Once one cultivated inner chi, one's strength would increase exponentially. Although it could not be compared to the strength of his previous life, it was not rare to be able to kill a cow with one punch. Unfortunately, according to what the nurses had said, there were too few people who were able to cultivate internal energy. Most of them only had ordinary martial arts. This was also why, although martial arts were prevalent, there were still many ordinary people. Ling Tian Orphanage was located in the outskirts of the city, surrounded by trees and flowers. Upon entering, Wang Zhong saw many children laughing and playing. These children were all abandoned by their parents, or their parents had died and there was no one to take care of them, so they were sent here. According to the rules, the orphanage would look for people to adopt the children during this period, and the children would be given to some kind-hearted people to adopt. Of course, the government would subsidize these kind-hearted people. This was not an adoptive relationship, but a caretaker relationship. This was similar to the policy of the United States. Then, there would be staff from the Domestic Service Center to check on the children regularly. If they found that the children were mistreated or had other problems, the government had the right to revoke the adoption rights. Overall, the social system was quite secure. Because Wang Zhong was still young, he was temporarily taken care of by an aunt called Lin Jiaojiao. Every day, other than sleeping, she drank milk powder. Life in the orphanage was very boring, especially when Wang Zhong grew up. He realized that because of his ugly appearance, there were more and more malicious situations toward him. He was finally 3 years old. At this age, Wang Zhong could walk more stably. Director Lin arranged for Wang Zhong to play with the children. "Auntie Lin, there's a ghost, there's a ghost." As soon as Wang Zhong entered the children's playground in the orphanage, some children were scared to tears. Upon seeing Wang Zhong's appearance, all of the children started to scream. Fortunately, Wang Zhong's mental endurance was strong, so he remained silent. At the same time, he also realized that there were a few children present who more or less had defects. For example, a child was born with a deformed hand, a girl had severe cleft lips, and a girl had lost all her hair. These people were so miserable. However, compared to these people's deformities, his appearance was indeed very scary. On the right side of his face, there was a wrinkled red birthmark. If you only looked at the right side of his face, he looked like a zombie in a movie. No wonder the children were scared to tears. Children, don't be afraid. His name is Tang Yi. He's very pitiful. His face is also injured, so he became like this. I think, good children will be good friends with Tang Yi, right? Director Lin clapped her hands and smiled. Although Wang Zhong automatically knew that Auntie Lin was speaking for him, to the children, he was indeed too ugly and no one liked him. From this day onwards, he officially ate with the children and slept together in the dormitory. In the blink of an eye, a year had passed. Today, Wang Zhong was already 4 years old. He realized that when the children were 4 or 5 years old, there would be teachers in the orphanage who would train the older children in martial arts. Everyone remember, you can't stay here forever. Only by laying a good foundation, practicing martial arts, can you be a useful person to society in the future. Do you understand? Director Lin taught the children. In this world, everyone's deep-rooted thought was that only by practicing martial arts could they stand out. Otherwise, they would be useless. Of course, through learning, they could become a scientist, a doctor, or something. But they were still not as respected as a martial arts expert. So if they could, everyone naturally wanted to become strong. And after becoming strong, whether it was thinking or learning, they would become faster. Learning these things would also become faster. So according to the experience of this world's scientists, the higher one's martial arts, the higher one's education, and the higher one's contribution in all walks of life. These things were directly proportional. Got it. The children all shouted. Director Lin smiled. At this time, she unexpectedly saw a thin and weak figure, practicing his fist on the side of a big tree in the playground. Isn't this Tang Yi? Director Lin had a deep impression of this child. Other than his ugly appearance, he had been very obedient ever since he came in. Yes, this child doesn't like to play. I often see him practicing on the side of the tree. Don't look at his weak body, his strength is not small. A nurse said. Not bad. On this summer day, because of the festival, the orphanage gave each child 5 pieces of candy. Wang Zhong took the candy, but he didn't like to eat it, so he didn't eat it. At this time, a very big child ran in front of Wang Zhong. Ugly, give me the candy just now, I'll protect you in the future. Wang Zhong stayed here for a long time. Everyone was used to his appearance, so some of the children were not afraid of him. Gradually, some of them even found trouble with him, wanting to bully him. This big child, called Fatty, was the king of the children here. At this moment, there were 3 children following behind him. These people were already 6 or 7 years old, and always bullied other children. This time, it was obvious that they were eyeing Wang Zhong. Although Wang Zhong didn't like to eat candy, it didn't mean that others could snatch it. He shook his head and said, "Not giving." Hee, ugly, are you looking down on me, Fatty? Wang Zhong frowned. These days, although he had been training his body, and even trained according to his previous martial arts, but after all, his body was too small. Don't talk about strength, he didn't even cultivate any internal strength. So when facing so many people, TSK, it was really troublesome. Maybe it was because they didn't like Wang Zhong, so these people deliberately found trouble. Without waiting for Wang Zhong to speak, Fatty scolded, "Damn, a 4-year-old child is so arrogant." A few children rushed over to hold Wang Zhong down and beat him up. Everyone knew that the caregivers were all busy at this time. Who would be watching over the amusement park all the time? Wang Zhong retaliated on the spot, but all martial arts originated from the body. With a weak body, it was impossible to be strong in martial arts. Therefore, Wang Zhong only fought back with 2 punches, and was pushed to the ground by Fatty, his clothes stained with mud. "Beat this ugly," Fatty scolded. Dong, dong, dong. This time, Wang Zhong was beaten up badly, and even the corner of his mouth was bleeding. A group of children not far away watched in fear, and no one came to help. Chapter 226. You better remember this in the future. The fat boy snatched the candy from Wang Zhong's body and scolded. Wang Zhong wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and suddenly grabbed a handful of soil and threw it at the fat boy's eyes. F***CK. The fat boy's eyes immediately couldn't see anything, and Wang Zhong took the opportunity to pick up the brick on the ground and threw it over. Aya, aya. Soon, the fat boy was scared of being smashed and kept retreating. In fact, this group of children were all children. If they really fought, they wouldn't have Wang Zhong's strength. With these few hits, the fat boy cried for his father and mother. "Auntie Lin, it's them. Everyone, the fat boy wants to beat the ugly girl," a timid female voice said. Wang Zhong shot a glance in that direction, only to see a group of employees rushing over. Clearly, they had been called over by that girl. This girl had a serious cleft lip and was abnormally thin. Her hair was dry and yellow, and her face was malnourished. Usually, she didn't like to talk much and would play on the swing with a few girls. Wang Zhong didn't have much interaction with her. But several times, when children were bullied, this girl would immediately complain. "Stop fighting." Principal Lin helped the fat boy up and frowned at Wang Zhong. "Tang-yi, fat boy, what's going on with you guys?" "Whoa, whoa, whoa." The fat boy cried, "Auntie Lin, the ugly girl hit me with a brick." "Whoa, whoa." The children who followed the fat boy also cried. Wang Zhong said, "They want to steal my candy." "Fat boy, is it true?" The fat boy cried and lowered his head, obviously admitting it. "In the future, you're not allowed to steal candy and bully others. Do you understand?" Principal Lin reprimanded and said to Wang Zhong, "And you, Tang-yi, how can you use a brick to hit people?" "They have more people," Wang Zhong said. "But you can't hit people. What if they die?" Principal Lin looked at everyone. "Also, Tang-yi has a name. From now on everyone can only call him Tang-yi, and not ugly person." At this time, Wang Zhong was quite speechless. He didn't expect that he would get the nickname Ugly Guy out of the blue. "Alright, let's continue playing. Fatty, come here." Dean Lin left the place, and Fatty followed helplessly. It seemed like he was going to be punished. The episode passed quickly, and the children continued to play. Some were playing eagle and chicken, some were swinging, and some were playing hide and seek. Wang Zhong walked to the side of the girl. "Thank you." No matter what, it was this girl who helped him to complain. Then, he took out his candy and passed it to the girl. "I've been bullied by them before. It's fine." The girl shook her head. "Don't you like candy?" "I don't like it," Wang Zhong said. Only then did the cleft lip girl take the candy and eat one. Beaming with joy, she said, "It's delicious." "What's your name?" "My name is Yang Judja. My father gave me this name." "Is that so? Then why are you here?" Wang Zhong asked curiously. This girl was relatively more mature than the other children. "When I was born, my mother abandoned me. My father has been taking care of me. Later on, he was caught." Young Judja lowered her head dejectedly. "Later on, I was sent here." She was also a child with a hard life. "How about you? How did you come here?" Yang Jia asked. Then, Wang Zhong began to briefly explain his background. So you are even more miserable than me. You haven't even met your parents. At this time, the entrance of the amusement park was suddenly noisy. A child shouted, "Someone is here to adopt a child again." Children who weren't loved by anyone matured early. The children here all knew that they were abandoned. Hence, whenever an adult came to adopt a child, they would fight to be the first to take a look. These children's eyes were filled with eagerness. Who didn't want to be loved? Who didn't want parents to take care of them? Who didn't want a warm home? Even if they were adopted, it would be a good home for them. Hence, whenever an adoptive family came, the children would run over, hoping that they would be chosen by the adults to adopt them. An adult is coming. Let's hurry over and take a look. If we can be adopted, that would be great. Yang Jia ran out in surprise. When Wang Zhong walked over, a middle-aged couple who had just come over were already surrounded by the children. The middle-aged couple looked at the children happily. Director Lin accompanied them. This child is called Hao Li. She's 5 years old. She's quite smart. Now, she can do mental arithmetic within 100. She's quite hard-working when it comes to martial arts. This boy is called Sun Shi. Madam Huang, don't be fooled by his skinny figure. He's the most hard-working in our orphanage. Similarly, Director Lin spared no effort in introducing the children to a good family for adoption. This girl is called Yang Jia. Although she has a bit of a cleft lip, she's very obedient. She's also very hard-working when it comes to martial arts. Before Director Lin could finish, Madam Huang shook her head and said, "It's just a bit of a cleft lip. It's not pretty for girls." Madam Huang, although Jia has a cleft lip, it can be cured through surgery. For example, the previous girl here also had a cleft lip. Later, she was adopted by a kind person. Look, after the surgery, she's much better. Director Lin hurriedly took out her phone, wanting to show Madam Huang the photo. Unfortunately, Madam Huang waved her hand. "We're not well off. We just want to find a normal child. After all, the surgery fee is quite high. Don't you think so, Director Lin?" Director Lin could only squeeze out a smile and smile awkwardly. Yang Jia, who was originally looking forward to it, became excited when she heard Madam Huang's words. She couldn't wait to walk over and say, "Auntie Huang, I can treat the surgery myself in the future. I'll earn my own money. When you're old, I'll take good care of you." Yang Jia's words shocked all the adults present. It also fully proved that Yang Jia was more sensible than her peers. Director Lin looked at the couple and nodded. "This child seems to really like you." "Honey, I think this child is not bad," the man beside her said. Madam Huang frowned and shook her head. "Although you say that, if we go back like this, we'll be laughed at by our relatives and friends. There are so many normal children. Why would we adopt a disabled one?" The man hesitated. Yang Jia stared at him with her big eyes. Tears were already welling up in her eyes. "Listen to me." "All right then." The man couldn't bear to look at Yang Jia and left with Madam Huang. "Then let's take a look at the children over there." Director Lin squeezed out a smile. The group of people left. After they left, Yang Jia burst into tears. "This child wants to be adopted so much." Wang Zhong watched from behind and sighed. He patted Yang Jia's shoulder and said, "Don't be sad. Look at how petty that woman is. Even if you're adopted, your life won't be much better." "But it's better than here," Yang Jia shouted at Wang Zhong. "What does an ugly person like you know? We have no future here. If no one adopts us, we can only go to the worst schools. Those schools won't teach you martial arts. Do you understand? When the time comes, my child can only be like me and not have a good life." Wang Zhong was speechless. He didn't expect this little girl of a few years old to know so much. "I won't give in, Tang Yi. I must leave here. I want to live a good life. I want to marry those successful people in the future. Forget it. You're only 4 years old. What do you know about these things? Young Judge was disappointed and left the place alone. Chapter 227. In the evening, the children ate in the cafeteria. Probably because she was rejected today, young Judge was eating alone in a sullen mood. Because she was sad, her eyes were red. She quickly finished eating and prepared to go back to the dormitory with her head down. Wang Zhong didn't care about her at first, but at this time, he found the 3 girls whispering to the fat boy. "It's that young Judge who complained and made me stand for a day." The fat boy looked at young Judge's back with hatred. Although he was punished mainly because of Tang Yi, the most important thing for him was young Judge's complaint. At the same time, although he was unhappy with Tang Yi's fierceness in the fight today scared him. How could he dare to find trouble with Wang Zhong? "Xia Li, young Judge is done eating. Help me teach young Judge a lesson later," the fat boy said. Xia Li and the other 2 girls were about the same age as the fat boy. They often hung out together. Hearing this, they nodded. "Leave it to me." The 3 girls walked out directly. Wang Zhong pushed his bowl and walked out. No matter what, this matter was because of him. Young Judge was unlucky, so he had to help. "Xia Li, why are you blocking my way?" Young Judge asked. "Young Judge, why did you complain about the fat boy?" Xia Li asked. "Because he bullied children." "So what if he bullied you?" Xia Li pushed young Judge. The 3 children surrounded young Judge at once. Wang Zhong watched from behind and was about to help, but he didn't expect that before he went over. He saw young Judge grabbing Xia Li's hair, pressing her to the ground and beating her fiercely. Wang Zhong actually felt a wave of murderous intent from this ruthlessness. Also because young Judge was too fierce, the 2 girls who came with Xia Li were scared silly and didn't dare to move. "Don't provoke me in the future, or I'll beat you until your mother doesn't recognize you." Young Judge sat on Xia Li and scolded. "Woo woo." Shirley burst into tears. Only then did young Judge sit up and look at Wang Zhong, who was not far away. Then, without saying a word, she turned and left. Wang Zhong followed him and said, "I didn't expect you to be so powerful. I wanted to help you." "I'm always training." Young Judge glanced at Wang Zhong and said, "I'm sorry for today. I shouldn't have called you ugly." "Well, it's okay. Anyway, I'm used to it." Wang Zhong clasped his hands behind his back and said maturely, "Do you know, Tang Yi? This little friend of yours is different from others. You're different too. Other kids aren't as bold as you," Wang Zhong said. "That's because I saw a lot when I was young." Young Judge's eyes dimmed. "I saw with my own eyes. Murder. Is that so?" Wang Zhong raised his eyebrows. No wonder young Judge was only a few years older than him, but she had already lost her innocence. Everything she did carried a strong sense of purpose. If this girl's luck wasn't too bad in the future, her achievements wouldn't be too low. "Tang Yi, you're really different. If other kids hear about murder, they'll probably cry." Wang Zhong nodded and casually explained, "I've been so ugly since I was a child. I've encountered all kinds of bad things, so I'm bold." "Well, what do you want to do in the future? I mean, what if no one adopts you?" "I'm not sure yet." Wang Zhong shook his head. He really wasn't sure. He was only a few years old now. Although he had the mentality of an adult, he was facing a whole new world. At this time, he couldn't go out and see the outside world, so he could only take one step at a time. Young Judge said, "I'm already 7 years old. If no one adopts me by then, I'll decide to leave here." "Judge, you're a child. It's dangerous outside." Wang Zhong frowned. Although this era was a modern society, it didn't mean that it was safe outside. Human traffickers, organ trading, drug trafficking, there were too many. "If I keep staying here, my future days won't be good." After entering the dormitory, young Judge carefully took out the candy from under the bed. "Tang Yi, you really don't want to eat candy?" Although young Jia appeared to be very mature, she liked to eat candy like other children. No need. If you want to eat, I can give you my share in the future, Wang Zhong said. You're so nice. Young Jia smiled shyly. When they weren't talking about leaving here, young Jia was quite cute. For the next few days, Wang Zhong trained under the guidance of the martial arts teacher. Young Jia also trained very hard. Because the two of them got along well with each other, they often trained together and became very close. They had become good friends. However, as she grew older, young Jia became more and more eager to leave. Finally, when she was 10 years old, a black SUV drove into the orphanage. Two well-dressed ladies got out of the car. Someone came to adopt us again. A child guessed. Wow, this car must be very expensive. If we can be adopted by these two beautiful ladies, we must be very happy. Isn't that so? Listening to the words of the surrounding children, young Jia's eyes were filled with anticipation. Tang Yi, I want to go over. I must be adopted by them. They are rich and they are two beautiful ladies. I must be adopted by them. Young Jia whispered beside Wang Zhong. Young Jia was indeed daring. She walked over as she spoke. However, Wang Zhong pulled her back. Tang Yi, what are you doing? Young Jia frowned. Oh, you want to be adopted by them too? At this moment, young Jia looked at Wang Zhong with a dangerous gaze. This gaze was like looking at a competitor. Wang Zhong suddenly understood. For young Jia, her goal was to be adopted and leave here. Now, it was rare to find a good family. If Wang Zhong also wanted to be adopted, regardless of whether he was ugly or not, he would be a competitor to young Jia. Young Jia would never give a good face to a competitor. You misunderstood. It doesn't matter to me. Moreover, I am so ugly. How could they like me? Wang Zhong said. Humph, then why are you stopping me? If you go out like this, not only will you not be liked, but they will think that you are scheming. Young Jia was stunned. Although she went to school, she was still a little confused about some idioms. She did not understand what Wang Zhong meant. What's scheming? It means that people will think that you are sinister and cunning. Therefore, the first impression is very important. Then hurry up and tell me what I should do. Young Jia reacted and felt that it was not good for her to go out like this. Compared to so many people going over, you might as well practice martial arts alone in the forest. Wang Zhong said, this way, it will give people the impression that you are diligent in martial arts. What do you think? Young Jia's eyes lit up. Tang Yi, although you are ugly, you are really smart. But that's not right. What if they can't see my hard work? Wang Zhong smiled faintly. Don't you have me? That's great. Young Jia nodded and said seriously, Good brother, just because of your words, I, young Jia, will definitely come to find you when I am successful in the future. In the future, you will be my good brother. Is that so? Of course. Young Jia looked excited. I beg you, Tang Yi, help me. Okay, you can go now. But at this time, young Jia's expression changed. That bastard Shaili actually went over. Chapter 228. At this moment, Xiali dressed herself up beautifully. She actually walked out from the middle of the children and arrived in front of the two women. Hello sister, Director Lin is inside. Let me take you there. Xiali smiled. This Xiali was actually a scheming woman. She was one step ahead of others to win favor. The two women were wearing sunglasses. The taller one touched Xiali's head. This child is really obedient. Isn't that so? The woman beside her said, What's your name? My name is Xiali. My parents died in a car accident while working outside. I'm the only one left. Xiali's eyes were red. First, she won favor, then sympathy. This Xiali was not simple. Young Jia's eyes were about to burst. Tang Yi, if this goes on, What if they adopt Xiali? No, I can't let her succeed. Wang Zhong frowned. Don't be agitated. She's already one step ahead of you. If you go now, you won't get any benefits. Then what should I do? Follow the original plan. I'll help you. Yang Jia nodded and then walked to a pile of dummies. This was the martial arts training ground of the orphanage. It was usually used by the older children to practice martial arts. Ha 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 ha. Yang Jia began to practice. However, from time to time, she would look at Wang Zhong. It could be seen that she was extremely nervous. Tang Yi, could he really do it? Yang Jia was doubtful. At this time, Xia Li was still chatting with the two women. Xia Li's face was filled with youthful and excited smiles. It was obvious that the two women liked her. In addition, she wore a red dress today and dressed up her long hair. She looked very clean. These two women definitely liked her and would definitely adopt her when the time came. I must seize the opportunity and leave here. Xia Li's heart trembled. She couldn't help but look at the crowd. Finally, she could leave this damn place. At this time, Director Lin finally came out. Director Sun, why didn't you say you were coming? Director Lin said. The tall woman took off her sunglasses, revealing her beautiful face. It could be seen that she was almost 40 years old. However, she maintained herself well. Whether it was her temperament or posture, Wang Zhong could be sure that this woman's status was not low. In addition, Director Lin was so polite to her and even called her Director Sunday. This woman had a prominent status. She might be an entrepreneur or something. To be adopted by such a person was a blessing from her previous life. I was afraid that you would be busy, so I came in first and checked on the children. Director Sun smiled and stroked Xia Li's head. Also, don't call me Director Sun in front of outsiders. Just call me Sun Lijuan. This child is quite cute. If my daughter is fine, she should be about the same age now. Sun Lijuan sighed as she spoke. This girl is called Xia Li. She's quite sensible. Director Lin began to introduce her. Yeah, I like it too. Sun Lijuan nodded. Then I'll bring you in to take a look, said Principal Lin. All right, let's stroll around. Sun Lijuan walked out. The few of them walked in the courtyard with a group of children following behind them. They were all curiously sizing up Sun Lijuan. Children actually liked beautiful big sisters, so everyone hoped that they could be adopted. At this time, everyone walked into the courtyard. The children are basically all here. Madam Sun, do you wish to adopt a daughter? Director Lin asked. Sun Lijuan nodded. Yes. How was Xia Li just now? Director Lin glanced at the excited Xia Li not far behind her. This girl is quite good, but she doesn't look like my daughter, said Sun Lijuan. I see. Yes, my daughter was very smart when she was young. She didn't need me to urge her to practice martial arts. She was really diligent. Unfortunately, Lijuan, don't be sad. Another woman comforted Sun Lijuan. The dead can't be brought back to life. Yes. Sun Lijuan nodded. Seeing this scene, Wang Zhong thought to himself that it was indeed true. Although Xia Li was very obedient, the people in this world advocated martial arts. If Yang Jia trained in front of these people, it was easy to give the impression that Yang Jia was diligent. Therefore, this plan was very feasible. Of course, he still needed some cooperation. Therefore, Wang Zhong walked over and said, Director Lin, I don't know what's wrong with Yang Jia today. She looks very sad. What's wrong with her? Director Lin was curious. When Sun Lijuan saw Wang Zhong's face, she was slightly stunned. Director Lin said embarrassedly, Madam Sun, I'm sorry. I'll go take a look at Jia first. I don't know what's wrong with this child. It's okay. Sun Lijuan followed Director Lin into the amusement park. At this moment, Yang Jia naturally sensed that the adults were coming towards her. For a moment, she was overwhelmed with emotions. This is my best opportunity. I must seize it. I must be adopted by them. Yong Judja thought and punched the wood. Hiss. A pain spread throughout her body. However, she could only endure it. Otherwise, if she didn't leave a good impression on them, what would she do if they didn't adopt her? Thinking of this, she almost used all her strength. He swung his fists and kicked his legs. His swift and fierce attacks landed on the wood. Judja looks fine, Director Lin said. I just saw that she had been training and seemed angry. I was a little worried about her, Wang Zhong replied in a childish voice. Director Lin nodded in surprise and seemed to understand something. She turned to Sun Lijuan and smiled, Madam Sun, this is Yong Judja. Just that this child is a little pitiful. She already has a cleft lip at such a young age. Yong Judja didn't seem to hear anything and was still hitting the wood. Is that so? Sun Lijuan was curious. When the other children saw her, they all squeezed over. Why was she different? Child, what's your name? Yong Judja then stopped. My name is Yong Judja. Why do you train so hard? Sun Lijuan asked. Because I want to be outstanding. Although I don't have parents, I want to rely on myself. Yong Judja said. Sun Lijuan nodded slightly. At this moment, she felt that Yong Judja was very similar to her daughter. They both wanted to be strong and said they wanted to rely on themselves. Although the two of them didn't look alike, their personalities were too similar. Judja, do you want to follow me? Sun Lijuan finally asked. Yong Judja became excited. However, behind Sun Lijuan, Wang Zhong mouthed, don't be excited to her. Why did Tang Yi ask me not to be excited? Yong Judja felt strange. No, Tang Yi is very smart. He wouldn't ask me not to be excited for no reason. In a moment, Yong Judja thought of many things. She immediately reacted. Tang Yi said before that she couldn't show too much enthusiasm and had to be honest. Thinking about this, she suppressed her excitement and took a deep breath. I'm willing, but... But what? Sun Lijuan was curious. She felt that this girl was rather interesting. In her eyes, there was a tenacity. It was very similar to her daughter. But, I want to go to school. I want to practice martial arts. I want to be outstanding. Yong Judja said. Very good, I will let you go to the best school. Also, I will help you cure your cleft lip. Is that okay? Sun Lijuan said. Thank you, Auntie. You're still calling me Auntie. In the future, she will be your mother. Principal Lin laughed. Yong Judja's eyes reddened and hugged Sun Lijuan. My mother threw me away when I was young. In the future, you will be my biological mother. Good child. Sun Lijuan sighed. Xia Li, who was in the group, was shocked. How could this be? It was such a good thing. Why did it turn out like this? Why? Chapter 229. Director Lin was very quick with the procedures. Not long after, she was done with the discharge procedures for Yong Judja. Judja, go and pack your things. When you're done, come back and leave with your mother. Director Lin smiled and rubbed Yong Judja's head. Yong Judja was considered an experienced orphan here. Because of her cleft lip, she had never been adopted. This time, she had finally found a good family for her. As the director, she was very pleased. Yong Judja nodded obediently. Mother, I'll leave for a while. Okay, do you need my help? Sun Lijuan asked. No need, I can do it myself. Yong Judja didn't want others to think that she couldn't do anything. Then, she walked out. Along the way, the surrounding children looked at her with envy. That's her. She was adopted by that female boss. No one is as lucky as me. If only I could be adopted, that would be great. Looking at the envious looks around, Yong Judja couldn't help but puff out her chest. I have a mother now. I can finally leave this place. I will definitely be successful in the future. I will find an outstanding man to marry. From then on, I, Yang Jia, will definitely be a noble woman like my mother. But when she walked to the playground, she saw Tang Yi. Congratulations. Wang Zhong smiled. You've already fulfilled your wish. But I can't slack off. I will continue to work hard. Yang Jia stood at the door and said, Let's go. I'll help you pack. Wang Zhong put his hands in his pockets and walked out casually. This kid was so arrogant. Yang Jia cursed in her heart. She had already been adopted and Tang Yi wasn't envious. But Yang Jia was really grateful. If not for Tang Yi, she wouldn't have been adopted so easily. When they reached the room, Yang Jia started to pack. Tang Yi, these cups. Do you want a teacup? Although they're old, I wash them every day. And this is my blanket. It has fur. I often sun it. It smells good. Yang Jia took her belongings and handed them over. I'm leaving anyway. I don't need these. You can have them. Thank you. Wang Zhong did not refuse. Yang Jia took out a bunch of dolls and put them in a box. These are for you too. Wang Zhong smiled and said, I'm a boy. I don't like dolls. That's true. Yang Jia quickly packed up her things, most of which were clothes. Then I'll be leaving. All right, let's go. Tang Yi, don't worry. Once I've gained a firm foothold, I'll come looking for you. If you leave, just leave your contact information here. I'll definitely look for you. Yes. Wang Zhong didn't think too much about it. In his opinion, Yang Jia had a tough personality, so helping her like this was not a big deal. At this moment, someone suddenly appeared at the door. It was actually Fatty. What was he doing here? Fatty, please step aside. Yang Jia took her luggage and prepared to leave. Humph, I'll beat you up today. For some unknown reason, the fat boy kicked Yang Jia without saying a word. Fatty was now 12 years old. He was already a little adult. If no one adopted him in 2 years, he would be sent to a foster family. Today, for some reason, he hit Yang Jia the moment he came. One had to know that they hadn't interacted for a long time. It's because of you that Xia Li couldn't be adopted. You made her cry. If I scratch your face, they won't like you. They'll definitely like Xia Li. So this was what the fat boy was planning. He took a small beer cap and was about to scratch Yang Jia's face. Ah! Yang Jia panicked and kept retreating. Fatty, get lost. Wang Zhong shouted. Tang Yi, this has nothing to do with you. Get lost. The fat boy rushed forward. Wang Zhong wanted to hold him back, but the fat boy was now very strong. He knocked Wang Zhong away. Then, he grabbed Yang Jia's collar. Because he was too strong, Yang Jia was knocked to the table behind her. The mirror on the table fell and shattered into pieces. The fat boy scratched Yang Jia's face with the beer cap. A bloody mark appeared on her face. If this continued, she would be disfigured. This was something she would never allow. What if Sun Li Juan despised her for being ugly? What if the scar couldn't recover? It was rare for someone to be willing to adopt her, and with such good conditions. This was something she wouldn't allow. Ah, go away. In a hurry, Yang Jia grabbed a piece of broken mirror on the table and scratched the fat boy's neck. F***ck. The fat boy covered his neck and quickly retreated. There was no blood, which meant that the artery wasn't damaged. This made Wang Zhong heave a sigh of relief. But the fat boy didn't know. He was young and thought he was going to die. Who scratched me? Who? The fat boy covered his neck and shouted. It turned out that it was too urgent just now. He didn't know who scratched him. Then he turned and ran out. Yang Jia was still in shock. I killed someone, I killed someone. Jia, don't worry. Tang Yi. Suddenly, Yang Jia grabbed Wang Zhong's hand and placed the mirror in Wang Zhong's hand. Help me for the last time. I can't kill anyone, otherwise my mother won't want me. Wang Zhong furrowed his brows. Young Jia wanted him to admit that he was the one who hurt the fat boy. Help me for the last time, Tang Yi. Actually, even if young Jia didn't say it, Wang Zhong would still help her. After all, it didn't matter to him. Firstly, the fat boy attacked first. Secondly, the wound on the fat boy's neck wasn't deep. But when these words came from young Jia's mouth, it had a different meaning. This feeling made Wang Zhong feel that she was very scheming. She was so scheming at such a young age. In the future, she would be very scheming. But, since things had come to this, nothing could be changed. Wang Zhong took the glass. Live a good life in the future. Keep away your scheming, okay? Young Jia was stunned, then nodded. Tang Yi, in my heart, although you are ugly, you are my best friend. In my heart, you are very handsome. I will definitely find you. At this time, this girl is still scheming with me? Wang Zhong was helpless and ignored her. He turned and walked out. Let's go. The directors are here. At this moment, in young Jia's heart, Wang Zhong didn't look like a child at all. What happened? Director Lin ran over, followed by Sun Lijuan and the rest. The fat boy wanted to bully Jia. I couldn't stand it, so I took the glass shard and scratched him. Wang Zhong said. So it was you who wanted to kill me. Sob, sob, sob. The fat boy cried and covered his neck. Director, I almost died. Director, it was the fat boy who wanted to scratch my face. He said he wanted to disfigure me. Young Jia said. Come to your mother. Sun Lijuan walked over. Young Jia rushed over, like a well-behaved little lamb. However, Wang Zhong knew that this woman had incomparably great ambitions. In a sense, in order to succeed, she would do anything. Chapter 230. In the end, young Jia left. When she left, young Jia entered the black luxury car. She opened the window and waved at Wang Zhong. At this moment, young Jia really smiled. Wang Zhong knew that she was smiling because he had finally found the life he wanted to live. This time, the dean did not pursue the matter of hurting Fatty. Firstly, Tang Yi was still too young. Secondly, it was indeed Fatty's fault. Thirdly, Fatty only suffered some superficial injuries. After a few days, his injury will be fine. But after young Jia left, Wang Zhong found that he did not have any good friends to talk to. On the contrary, the people who were close to Fatty were always mocking and ridiculing him. Ugly freak, go to hell. So ugly. If I were you, I would just hide and die. Although children are young, but because they are young, they do not care about other people's feelings. Once they learn vicious words, they will attack the people they hate. Without a doubt, Wang Zhong is ugly now. Plus, he usually does not play with them, so many people scolded him. Fortunately, Wang Zhong is actually an adult. His psychological quality is not ordinary strong, so he is immune to these children's words. It seems that I have to think of a way to leave here. Looking at another couple who came to adopt a child, Wang Zhong sighed softly. Just like what young Jia said, staying here, the future will be difficult. If he wants to learn good martial arts, if he wants to enter a good school, he can only be adopted. However, it was a pity that Wang Zhong had underestimated the ugliness of his appearance. These years, there are many couples who came to adopt a child. Some are rich, some are average, some do not want to get married and just want to raise a child. There are all kinds of people. But after seeing his face, these people all shook their heads. Too ugly. These are the words that these people said in unison. This game is too difficult. Wang Zhong looked at the group of children playing and could not help but mutter. Is there really no one to adopt me? When I grow up, will I be sent to a foster family? Now Wang Zhong is already 9 years old. The days pass really quickly. Although he has been in the orphanage, there are primary school classes here. In addition to reading and writing, there are also some martial arts classes. But the martial arts here is too low level compared to the good schools outside, so Wang Zhong is practicing the martial arts that he learned before. Tiger form fist. Wang Zhong practiced against a tree. Director Lin and the staff here are not martial arts masters, so they can't see Wang Zhong's martial arts. They only thought that Wang Zhong is just blind. Although he was only 9 years old, Wang Zhong's body was pretty good due to the fact that he had been practicing martial arts and eating well since he was young. Although he is young, some older children did not dare to bully him. As for the children, they found a foster family's foster family. Although the family's family is a family, they are a well-off family. As for Fatty, he was sent to a foster home in the city and lost contact with him in just half a year. On this day, Wang Zhong woke up early in the morning and saw a black car drive in. A bald middle-aged man got out of the car. He wore small sunglasses and light martial arts clothes. Beside him was a woman in plain clothes. She had a string of Buddhist beads in her hand. She looked at the children and muttered a few words from time to time. "Auntie Lin, who is this person?" Seeing the person who had come, the group of children began to chatter and ask. Director Lin whispered, "This is Master Ran Zhong. He runs a martial arts school in the city. If you perform well later and he takes you away, you can learn martial arts from him in the future. The importance of martial arts in this world is not inferior to the importance of education in modern society. It is even more important." Therefore, when the children heard this, their eyes lit up. If they want to be outstanding, they have to learn martial arts. "Master Ren, you are here." Director Lin walked over. Ran Zhong stood with his hands behind his back and looked like an expert. He nodded slightly and said, "Yes, my wife believes in Buddhism and is kind. Didn't your friend, Sister Lan, tell my wife that you have a lot of poor orphans here? So, she insisted that I come over to adopt a child." "Ah Zhong, what are you talking about? We adopted a child to do a good deed. How did it become a mission in your mouth?" The woman reprimanded. Okay, I can't win against you." Ran Zhong shook his head helplessly. "Master Ren, Sister Chen Qin, I will bring you to see the children." Director Lin walked in front. Ran Zhong nodded and whispered to Chen Qin, "Let's make it clear. Adoption is adoption, but we have to adopt a child with a good body. They can't be weak and can't even learn martial arts." "Got it. I will let you choose later." The two of them whispered and soon arrived at the amusement park. "Children, stand properly," Director Lin shouted. The group of children quickly gathered around. "The children are all here. Take a look." Ran Zhong nodded and looked over. As expected of the children of the poor, they were all in good health. Bang bang bang. At this time, the sound of sandbags being hit not far away attracted his attention. Not far away, Wang Zhong was hitting the sandbags with all his might. His intention was simple. This Ran Zhong was a martial artist, so the child he chose to adopt should meet two requirements. First, a good body. Second, hardworking in martial arts. This was why Wang Zhong had decided to hit the sandbag here. Director Lin also noticed Tang Yi and said, "This child is called Tang Yi. He has a good body and is very hard-working in martial arts. It's just that." "Just what?" Ran Zhong looked at Wang Zhong curiously. He had sharp eyes and could tell at a glance that Wang Zhong had a good body and was a martial arts seedling. "It's just that there is a birthmark on his face. It looks a little strange." Director Lin did not say the word ugly, but Ran Zhong and his wife understood. "Call him over. Let me take a look." Ran Zhong said. "Okay." Director Lin nodded and said to Wang Zhong, "Tang Yi, come here." "Okay." Wang Zhong walked over. After seeing Wang Zhong's face, Ran Zhong frowned. As for Chen Qin, she frowned even more and said, "This birthmark is too big." "What do you think?" Ran Zhong asked. "What do you think of his body?" Chen Qin said. Ran Zhong walked in front of Wang Zhong and patted Wang Zhong's shoulder. His body is not bad. His muscles are so strong at such a young age. Little friend, what's your name? Chen Qin squatted down and asked. Tang Yi. Wang Zhong replied in a childish voice. Are you willing to go home with us? Although Chen Qin also felt that Wang Zhong was ugly, she was a Buddhist and had a kind heart. She concealed her expression very well. Little Qin, this child's face. Ran Zhong was a little hesitant. Although he felt that Wang Zhong's body was not bad and he was a martial arts seedling, his face was indeed too ugly. Chen Qin said softly, although he has a birthmark on his face, we should be prepared to adopt children who have difficulties in life. Otherwise, wouldn't it lose the meaning of adoption? I think this child is not bad. What do you think? I don't think so. Ran Zhong whispered to Chen Qin. There are so many children here. There are many who are good-looking and have good bodies. Why choose him? Look at his eyes. One look and you can tell that he's a sensible child. You can tell that too. Ran Zhong was a little depressed. The other children are looking around. Only he keeps staring at you. Is that so? Ran Zhong was suspicious. Chen Qin walked over and held Wang Zhong's hand. Come to my house. I'll introduce you to an elder sister, okay? Vote for the new book, Devil Player, ha. Chapter 231. It was the same as Wang Zhong's guess. From the prayer beads on Chen Qin's hand and the smell of sandalwood after burning incense, Wang Zhong could confirm that Chen Qin was a Buddhist. Hence, she must have a good heart. Adopting him this time should be out of goodwill and not because of fertility issues. Hence, when he heard that Chen Qin had a young lady in her family, Wang Zhong wasn't surprised. Since Chen Qin had already decided, Ran Zhong couldn't say anything. Hence, he went to handle the procedures with Director Lin. Wow, the ugly guy was adopted too. That's too good of a luck. This family must be blind to want such an ugly person. Naturally, Chen Qin heard the conversation of the children around her. Tang Yi, these people said that about you. Are you angry? Chen Qin asked. Wang Zhong shook his head. There's nothing to be angry about. Chen Qin was stunned. Why aren't you angry? She felt that this child's way of thinking was different from others. Because I'm ugly, they think I'm weak. That's why they said that about me. When they grow up, they'll know that the strong aren't just shown by their looks. Chen Qin was stunned. It was hard to imagine that this sentence came from a 9-year-old child. You're really different. Let's go. Although what you said just now was right, I still have to tell you that no matter if you're weak or strong, others can't say that about you. Of course, you can't bully others either. Do you understand? Wang Zhong knew that Chen Qin was starting to educate him. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. But who asked him to look like a child? Hence, he nodded and said that he understood. Very quickly, Ran Zhong completed the procedures. Let's go. Ran Zhong opened the back door and Wang Zhong sat in. The car's design wasn't bad and the brand was also a luxury car brand. It could be seen that this family's conditions weren't bad. Tang Yi, they will be your godfather and godmother in the future. You have to be obedient in the future. Do you understand? Outside the car window, Director Lin touched Wang Zhong's head and said. Tang Yi's background was more tragic and his looks let down the audience. Now that he was finally given away, Director Lin was happy for Tang Yi from the bottom of his heart. Got it, Director Lin. I'll come and visit you in the future. Wang Zhong said solemnly. Director Lin smiled. The most important thing is for you to be happy in the future. Ran Zhong then exchanged a few pleasantries with Chen Qin and her husband before the car slowly drove out. Tang Yi, I'll call you Little E from now on. How old are you? Chen Qin sat in the back and asked. 9 years old. Yes, I have a little sister who is about your age. She's 1 year older than you. Her name is Ran Xia. I'll introduce you to her later, okay? Chen Qin said. Wang Zhong felt a little helpless. Chen Qin's attitude was like coaxing a child. Wang Zhong said seriously, "Okay, but if I go over, will you accept me as your younger brother?" He knew that in many families, only children did not want to see their parents give birth to a younger brother or sister because they were afraid of taking away their parents' love. As for someone like him, not only was he not her biological son, but he was also so ugly. Teske, it was hard to imagine. "Don't worry. It's time to take care of her temper," Chen Qin said. The two of them chatted with Wang Zhong along the way. From them, Wang Zhong learned some things about their family. Their family was a typical family of three. They only had a 10-year-old daughter, Ran Xia. Other than opening a martial arts school, Ran Zhong also dabbled in real estate, second-hand car trading, and other jobs. He was a typical successful person who practiced martial arts and did business. The car gradually arrived at the bustling city center. After a few turns, they finally arrived at the entrance of a villa. "We're home. You'll live here from now on," Chen Qin said with a smile. "Little E, you'll be our son from now on. Don't be shy, okay?" Ran Zhong said. Wang Zhong nodded. Since he was here, he might as well take things as they came. "Mom, your house is so big," Wang Zhong said. Chen Qin chuckled. "It's okay. Let's go in. What do you like to eat? I'll cook it for you later." "I'm not picky," Wang Zhong said. "Then let's have a combination of meat and vegetables. Follow our martial arts school's menu," Ren Zhong said. They held Wang Zhong's hand and entered the house. As soon as they opened the door, they heard a crisp female voice coming from the second floor. "Mom, Dad, you're back." Then a little girl wearing a pink dress and a cute hair clip ran down the stairs from the second floor. This little girl should be Ran Xia. Sure enough, she was as beautiful as Chen Qin. Wang Zhong was behind Ran Zhong at the moment, so Ran Xia didn't notice him for a while. "Mom, Dad, where did you go? Why did you come back so late?" Ran Xia asked. Ran Zhong touched Ran Xia's head and said, "Your mom and I went to do a good deed. We adopted a little brother from the orphanage. Xia, you have to take good care of the little brother." "What?" Ran Xia was stunned. Only then did she notice Wang Zhong standing behind Ran Zhong. Ah, so disgusting. After seeing the horrible birthmark on Wang Zhong's face, Ran Xia immediately showed a disgusted expression. "How can it be so ugly?" "Mom, Dad, you can adopt a little brother, but why did you adopt an ugly monster?" "What nonsense are you talking about?" Ran Zhong pushed Ran Xia into the house. Chen Qin also reprimanded, "Xia, you have to be polite. What did I teach you before?" "I know, but..." Ran Xia pointed at Wang Zhong. "He's too ugly. If I see him in the middle of the night, I'll think there's a ghost. If my friends see him, they'll be scared. It's so embarrassing." Wang Zhong was a little helpless. She was indeed a spoiled little princess in the city. Her temper was so bad. At this moment, he couldn't say anything. He could only be thick-skinned and wait. "Xia, listen to me. He's your brother in the future. Apologize to me." Chen Qin reprimanded. "I apologize? Ha ha, Mom, this ugly monster is too ugly. I don't want him to be my brother. I feel disgusted when I see him. Drive him away." As she spoke, Ran Xia actually wanted to push Wang Zhong out. Slap. Suddenly, Ran Zhong slapped him. "Are you not going to listen to your parents anymore?" This slap made Ran Xia's face burn with pain. Suddenly, Ran Xia was stunned. She covered her face in disbelief and said, "Sob, sob, sob. Dad, you love me the most. Now you're hitting me because of an ugly monster." "Xia, this is your brother. You can't call him an ugly monster." Chen Qin's tone was helpless. She didn't expect Ran Xia to be so disobedient. "No, no, no. I want to call him an ugly monster, ugly monster, ugly monster. It's so disgusting," Ran Xia cried and turned to leave. She seemed to be running to her room on the second floor. Wang Zhong touched his nose. This first day here didn't seem to go well. Why is this child like this? Ran Zhong muttered. That slap was too heavy, Chin said with heartache. Look at what she's saying. She's getting more and more outrageous. A girl actually swears. I don't know who she learned it from. Chapter 232. It's all because you spoiled her in the past, Chin said helplessly. It's okay. Let her cry. People have to experience setbacks. Ran Zhong patted Wang Zhong's shoulder. Xiao Yi, don't worry. Your sister is still young and insensible, so her temper is a little bad. She will be better after a long time. Wang Zhong naturally wouldn't argue with a girl. He nodded and said that he understood. Then, the couple reminded him of some things. They said that they contacted the same school as Ran Xia. The school was a good school in the city. It was impossible to get in without any connections. Wang Zhong couldn't help but feel a little emotional. It seemed that he had entered a rich family. The next day, Wang Zhong and Ran Xia took the same car to the elementary school. As before, Ran Xia didn't pay attention to Wang Zhong. After getting off the car, the two entered the school. Ugly, you better leave my house early. Otherwise I won't let you go, Ran Xia said gloomily as soon as they entered the school. Wang Zhong knew that Ran Xia was still young, so he said that. He naturally ignored her and walked to the classroom with his head down. As for Ran Zhong and Chen Qin, they followed behind. Humph, I'm talking to you. Are you mute? Ran Xia threatened. You think it's okay if you don't speak? Let me tell you, as long as you are here, I will always have a way to deal with you. Is that so? Wang Zhong said lightly. Do you see the group of people on the playground? On the playground, there was a group of sloppy children. At first glance, they were a group of punks. What's wrong? Wang Zhong glanced over there and said, I'm looking for someone to beat you up, so you better leave my house quickly, Ran Xia said willfully. Your parents adopted me, Wang Zhong said. Humph, you won't cry until you see the coffin. Just you wait. As the two talked, Ran Xia went to class. Wang Zhong was brought to the class teacher by Ran Zhong and his wife. The class teacher was a middle-aged woman, but she looked very strong. At first glance, one could tell that she was a martial arts master. This was also the standard of most good schools. Students nowadays valued martial arts. It was rumored that if one practiced martial arts to the extreme, one would become a great master. As long as one was a grandmaster, they would be able to leap onto roofs and vault over walls. Their strength would be doubled, and they would be able to shatter a rock with a single punch. Wang Zhong had heard about this from the mouths of some of the children. He didn't know if it was true or not, but with his previous life's experience, he felt that it should be true. Although this world was different from his previous life, since there was a martial arts legacy in this world, it shouldn't be too weak. The homeroom teacher's name was Zhou Xiaolin. Although she was a martial arts master, she was very polite. She didn't dislike Wang Zhong because he was ugly. Instead, after entering the classroom, she encouraged the students to treat Wang Zhong well and become good friends with him. Just like that, Wang Zhong started going to school here. This school was quite novel. Other than teaching elementary school textbook knowledge, they spent their afternoons practicing martial arts. In the past few days, the students had gradually accepted Wang Zhong. It was just that many people despised him for being ugly and said behind his back that he was an ugly freak. These words made Ran Xia very happy to hear. But one afternoon, Ran Xia secretly came to Wang Zhong's seat. Tang Yi. What's the matter? Wang Zhong said expressionlessly. Ran Xia also got used to Wang Zhong's expression during this period. This guy didn't look like a child at all. He was even more profound than her father. She really didn't know how this kid grew up. He must be a pervert. Sometimes Ran Xia said behind his back. I'm telling you, if someone asks you where you came from in the future, you must not say that I'm your sister, and also don't mention my parents. Otherwise, we won't be finished. Ran Xia threatened. Wang Zhong instantly understood. Children were all afraid of losing face. He was so ugly, but in just over a month, he had already become a famous person in the school. Of course, this fame was only because Wang Zhong was named the school's ugliest child. Many people, even if they hadn't seen Tang Yi, knew that he was an ugly freak, the world's ugliest. Therefore, Ran Xia was worried that her relationship with Wang Zhong would be known, so she reminded him. "Don't worry, I won't say it." "Well, that's good." Ran Xia clenched her teeth. She didn't know why, but looking at Wang Zhong's calm appearance, she suddenly felt that this child was somewhat pitiful. After all, he was his parents' adopted son. Although he was ugly, he was very obedient. When he came home, he would do his homework and wake up early in the morning to practice martial arts. If he wasn't so ugly, she would like this brother. But being ugly is the original sin. Sometimes, if a person is good-looking, even if he killed someone, there would be people pleading for him. But some people are ugly. Even if they are good people, there would still be people who don't like them. This is the reality. Look, this is that ugly freak, so ugly. He's so ugly, his parents must be ugly too. Outside the window, a few students from other classes came over and started pointing at them. Ran Xia was angry when she heard this. She was angry, but not because Wang Zhong was being talked about, but because these people were talking about her parents. Tang Yi's parents, weren't they her parents now? Hey, what are you guys talking about? Ran Xia had always been hot-tempered. She pointed over there and scolded. A tall person outside was a fifth-year university student. When he heard this, his face was a little embarrassed. What we're talking about has nothing to do with you. Isn't that so? You're so protective of this person. Are you guys having an affair? Ha ha. Ha ha ha. A group of people outside laughed. I have an affair with your mother. I also have an affair with your father. Ran Xia never showed any weakness in scolding people. Children were like this. They would scold whoever they caught. Chow en I ma. My chow en I dad. Ran Xia scolded without any care for her image. She had always been the little tyrant in class. Even if she was a girl, many boys would give her face. This time, the people outside were deflated. If you have the ability, go out and fight with us. The tall person shouted. Because martial arts were prevalent in this world, the school was the same. The teachers didn't prohibit students from competing with each other. Of course, it was limited to 2 people. If it was a group fight or something, it was strictly prohibited. Ran Xia knew that she wasn't a match for him. She wasn't stupid. She immediately expressed her stance. You're a big man and older than me. You want to compete with me and bully me? You're really generous. You, my chow and I dad. I think you're a coward. The scolding here quickly attracted the surrounding students. One by one, they surrounded them to watch a good show. The faces of the senior boys outside were even more embarrassed. Being scolded by a junior student, and a girl at that. Even if his grandfather could tolerate it, his aunt couldn't. So the people outside spread the word that Ran Xia was a coward and didn't dare to compete. I'm just scared. Little beauty, don't worry. We won't bully you. I'll give you a handicap of 1 hand. You don't even dare to do that. Ha 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 ha. The tall person mocked loudly. Chapter 233. The surrounding people were also pleased with themselves. Humans were like that, they liked to see beauty suffer, that feeling was very satisfying. Ran Xia was really defeated, the other party already said he would only use 1 hand, what should she do? If she did not dare to go up, then she was clearly showing weakness. That was undoubtedly shameful. Let me accompany you to try. But at this time, Wang Zhong stood up. You! The tall guy laughed, and shouted with a weird voice, Hero saving beauty. Ugly freak Tang Yi saving beauty, and you still say you have nothing going on? The people outside jeered. Ran Xia was so angry that she clenched her teeth, fiercely stared at Wang Zhong and said, I have nothing to do with him, he stood up because he is unhappy with you guys. Wang Zhong walked out. Tell me, What kind of competition? He stood out for 2 reasons. First, even if Ran Xia did not treat him well, she was still Ran Zhong and Chen Qin's daughter. He was an adult. There was no need to bicker with a 10-year-old girl. Second, he had trained a lot these days, and needed someone to spar with him, and with his current connections, he obviously could not find a friend to spar with. Third, his life mission was to solve all the setbacks and difficulties, and to win everyone's respect. So when he met with problems, he could not hide. Today he wanted to defeat him. To change people's views, from today onwards. Let's go to the field. The tall guy raised his head and said arrogantly, "All right." Wang Zhong walked out. The crowd instantly cheered. There's a good show to watch. Ugly freak Tang Yi and 5th year Lu Dong will spar. Lu Dong, because he was a senior student, naturally many people knew him. He was also considered a small celebrity, his strength was not bad, and knew a set of fist techniques. It was said that when he was young, his parents sent him to the dojo to train, and his body already had an inner qi, which was his internal strength. So many people were prepared to watch Tang Yi get beaten up. "You're crazy." Wang Zhong was walking, Ran Xia had unknowingly ran behind him, and anxiously said, "Do you know why I did not agree to spar with him? Because I know where I stand. I'm definitely not his opponent." "What about you? You're too insensible. How can you compete with him?" Wang Zhong calmly glanced at her and said, "No matter what, we are a family. You suffered a loss, so I naturally have to help you get back at him." "You?" Ran Xia didn't know what to say at the moment. At this moment, he only felt warmth in his heart. Was this fellow speaking the truth? Did he choose to fight with Lu Dong because of her? For a time, Ran Xia's bad impression of Wang Zhong changed a lot. But he still felt that Tang Yi was too foolish. He had only been in school for slightly more than a month, yet he dared to compete with Lu Dong, a senior. Could it be that he did not know how to think? "Tang Yi, if you have a stomachache later, hurry up and leave." After thinking about it, Ran Xia could only say this. "If I leave now, won't it be very embarrassing? When the time comes, they will only say worse things. That's better than you being beaten up. Moreover, if you leave with an excuse, at most when they talk about you, I'll help you scold them." Ran Xia fiercely said. Don't say, Ran Xia's ability to scold people was not bad. She had the ability to fight with a group of scholars. But Wang Zhong naturally would not leave like this. "Let's try it. It just so happens that I haven't competed with anyone before." Ignoring Ran Xia's incessant chatter, Wang Zhong took a step forward and walked over. There were quite a lot of people, and there were even teachers around. But no one stopped him, because a competition was a very normal thing. As long as it was not life-threatening, the teachers would not care. "Ugly person, come." Lu Dong faintly smiled and stretched out a hand. "If you say one hand, I'll accompany you with one hand." "Okay." Wang Zhong nodded. If there was a bargain, he would be a bastard. Lu Dong used a martial art that everyone in school learned. It was called Continuous Ordinary Punch. Don't look at the name of this martial art. If you learn it well, it's not bad. You can continuously attack 10 punches within 3 seconds. Continuous Ordinary Punch. The method was unpredictable, and the power was continuously released. It was very domineering. At the same time, this move was also very simple, so many schools taught this move. "Then I'm coming." Lu Dong ran over and continuously attacked with his ordinary punches. Because it was only one hand, the effect was reduced by half. But it did not matter to Lu Dong. To deal with this kind of junior, even if the effect was reduced by half, it was enough to deal with. Wang Zhong's expression did not change. After all, he was a grandmaster in his previous life. Why would he be afraid of this? He slowly raised his fist. Facing the attack, he did not use continuous ordinary punches at all. Instead, he found the opponent's weakness. After dodging the fist, he punched Lu Dong's face. Bang! Lu Dong did not expect that a child could find his weakness so quickly. Suddenly, blood flowed out from his nose. Deng deng deng. Lu Dong frantically retreated, covered his nose and shouted, "Blood? Blood. Damn, it's only one punch." Someone outside exclaimed, "What do you know?" This ugly person found Lu Dong's weakness, so he could hit Lu Dong quickly and steadily. A senior student hit the nail on the head. Only then did the crowd realize. Lu Dong stared at Wang Zhong with a pale face. Although he was shocked by Wang Zhong's reaction speed, on the surface, he said with a relaxed face, "Not bad, your reaction is quite fast. I underestimated you." At this moment, he was somewhat regretful. This guy was not as weak as he looked. He actually let him use one hand. He felt that if this continued, he would definitely be at a disadvantage. He rolled his eyes and deliberately said, "I let you use that punch on purpose. Now that I'm injured, I don't need one hand." "Damn, Lu Dong is shameless." Ran Xia directly scolded. Lu Dong's face was ashen. "I'm telling the truth." Then he said to Wang Zhong, "Ugly person, how about it?" "Okay." Wang Zhong nodded blankly. At this moment, the surrounding people were sympathizing with Wang Zhong. Not only was he ugly, but he was also bullied. More importantly, this person looked so honest. He was clearly bullying her. She was too honest. She was really too honest. Lu Dong shook his head and attacked again. Continuous normal punch. He waved both hands, and this time, fists appeared in front of him one after another. Using both fists at the same time, he did not have any flaws at all. He was just waiting to finish this ugly person with one punch. Wang Zhong was still standing in the same spot. Facing the fists, he moved his feet slowly. His opponent's fists were indeed very dense, but because of this, it caused an obvious flaw in his lower body. Now is the time. Wang Zhong aimed at his opponent's lower body and suddenly lowered his head to sweep his leg. Ouch. Lu Dong was directly swept to the ground, and he cried out in pain. Lu Dong lost. Someone shouted. According to the rules of the competition, if someone fell, it would be counted as a loss to prevent the student from being injured. For a moment, everyone looked at Wang Zhong in a different light. "You're actually so good." Ran Xia was also surprised. Chapter 234. It's okay, as long as I practice more, this is nothing. Wang Zhong wasn't very pleased with himself. This group of people were just children. Defeating them was indeed not a big deal. Instead, it made him feel like he was playing a full-level game and then using a smurf to show off. He did not like this feeling. However, after this battle, many people knew that the ugly Tang Yi is not to be trifled with. Although ugly, his strength is very strong. Also because of this battle, Ran Xia's attitude towards Wang Zhong finally changed a little. At least she would not threaten him to leave every day. It's just that she usually ignored him. In the next half a year, Wang Zhong always maintained a high level of enthusiasm for learning. In the morning, he would learn all kinds of knowledge. In the afternoon, he would sweat on the field and exercise his body. Everyone saw these things, especially Ran Xia. She could not help but admire Wang Zhong from the bottom of her heart. This guy, he woke up so early in the morning and went home to practice martial arts at night. Doesn't he want to play at all? Ran Xia could not help but think. Regarding Wang Zhong's diligence, Chen Qin and Ran Zhong also noticed. This kid is really good. At night, looking at Wang Zhong practicing martial arts on the wooden dummy outside the house, Ran Zhong could not help but praise. "There are shadows of me when I was young. At that time I was also this hard-working. The children of the poor take care of the family early. At that time you did not want him. How is it good now? When he grows up, you can let him come to my martial arts school to practice." Ran Zhong said. As the two of them talked, Wang Zhong almost finished a set of fist techniques. His body was full of sweat. Only then did he enter the house. "Xiao Yi, boxing is so tiring. Drink some water." Chen Qin handed over a cup of water. "Thank you, Mom." "Xiao Yi, Is there anything you don't understand about fist techniques? Ren Zhong asked. Well, I've been practicing continuous normal punches recently, but I feel that this move is too weak. It would be great if I could use continuous heavy punches. Wang Zhong had a foundation in martial arts before, so it was easy for him to sense the problem with this fist technique. Your suggestion is very good. Next I will teach you a move, the 5-fist technique. This is a fist technique that I created based on the continuous normal punches. When you throw out 5 punches, all of them are heavy punches. Ren Zhong smiled and said, Do you want to learn? Of course I do. The final exam is coming soon. I want to get a good ranking. I heard that the rewards for the top 10 are very good. My goodness, you want to get into the top 10? At this time, Ren Zhong was surprised. As far as he knew, the school did give out rewards for the final exam. The top 10 would receive personal guidance from the school's headmaster. The top 3 would receive a manual for practicing martial arts. As for the first place, that person would be able to obtain a mid-tier cultivation technique. However, it was too difficult to get into the top 10. It was very simple. There were over 1,000 students in the school. To be able to stand out among so many students, from ancient times until now, all of them were the children of those big families. Although Ren Zhong opened a martial arts school, it was actually a small martial arts school. Most of the money he earned was from real estate and second-hand car business. Therefore, for Wang Zhong's grand idea, he felt that it was unrealistic. Wang Zhong did not think so much and nodded. The top 3 will be rewarded. I want to try. On one hand, it was to win the prize. On the other hand, Wang Zhong wanted to let others know how powerful he was. Only in this way could he gain the respect of others. All right then. Ren Zhong nodded. He felt that it was always good for a child to have a dream. Then he went outside and began to teach. This set of 5-fist technique was indeed good. After Wang Zhong practiced, he felt that it was much better than the continuous normal punches. After Ren Zhong finished teaching, he quickly went into the house to rest. Wang Zhong continued to practice. Bang bang bang. Ha ha ha. One punch after another landed solidly on the wood. The force was getting stronger and stronger. Others did not know, but Wang Zhong knew in his heart that the reason why the force was so strong was because he had cultivated internal strength. Internal strength was a very strange thing. It appeared in a different way from internal strength. Internal strength was a force that was gradually absorbed from the air and the spiritual root liquid. It could also be called an external force. However, internal strength was a force that was produced by oneself. Whether it was in the air or medicine, it could not produce internal strength. This was the biggest difference between internal strength and internal strength. However, although the difference was huge, the way to use it was similar. In the beginning, Wang Zhong did not have internal strength. Then, according to the cultivation method of internal strength, he kept raising and raising his qi. Finally, there was internal strength in his stomach. This was the source of his internal strength. Because he had previous experience, he used this internal strength and kept cultivating according to the method of circulating internal strength in his previous life. His internal strength became stronger and stronger. Because of this, he was able to easily defeat Lu Dong last time. However, there were too many implications regarding internal strength. After all, he was still young and did not want to be regarded as a very powerful person. Therefore, he chose to hide the fact that he had internal strength. Wang Zhong planned to wait until he became an adult. It would not be too late to tell him. While Wang Zhong was practicing, on the second floor, the light in Ran Xia's boudoir was still on. She stealthily looked out the window at Wang Zhong, who was currently hitting the wood. Curling her lips, she said, "He's still hitting. This ugly freak is really stubborn." Then, she picked up her phone and continued to play. Time passed quietly. Finally, it was the end of the year and the final exam was coming. Compared to many students who were cramming at the last minute, Wang Zhong's expression did not change as he faced the exam. First was language, mathematics, and foreign language. Although this world valued martial arts, it also valued basic knowledge. After a day of exams, after school, Ren Xia said, "Tang Yi, how did you do?" "Not bad. How about you?" "I didn't do well in foreign language. I forgot some words." Ren Xia was a little depressed. Wang Zhong nodded. Ren Xia's results were very unstable, mainly because she liked to play and did not study much. "Actually, you're very smart. If you spend more time memorizing, your results will improve quickly. You're such a busybody." Ren Xia rolled her eyes at Wang Zhong. Suddenly, a group of students came over. Ren Xia quickly walked away and said, "Don't bother with me, I'm not familiar with you." Wang Zhong shook his head helplessly. Although Ren Xia's attitude towards him was a lot better, she still wanted to save face and did not want others to know that they were siblings. The next day, the school competition finally began. This time, everyone in the grade participated in the competition. First, each class competed to determine the first place. Then, the first place of each class began to compete. In Wang Zhong's class, the top 5 were 3 boys and 2 girls. Soon, the class teacher asked everyone to draw lots to choose their opponents. Wang Zhong drew the number 13. Group after group of students began to compete. On the big field, the students punched and kicked. Wang Zhong almost did not use any strength and defeated his opponents one by one. Ren Xia was also not bad. She defeated several people, but when facing the vice class leader, Ren Xia was defeated with just one punch. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.